Well, good Thursday afternoon to you. Trucker Todd here, and time for In Case You Missed It. Um, we're going to give it a few minutes. I don't know that notifications went out, but while we're waiting, I want to say hello to the first person that was in here today. That would be Overhauling. Thanks for joining us today. Boy, we've got a lot to talk about today. I'm in Southern California. I'm in, oh, crud. Miraloma, California. And for the first time in a while, I'm in warm weather. I'm having to idle the truck because it's a little warm here. My good friend James, the mayor, is here. Thanks for stopping by, James. I was telling everybody, I don't know if the notifications went out. So we're going to give it just a second and see if any more people come in, and then we'll jump right into it. We've been, as you guys know, a lot of people are dealing with bad weather. I know there's a few other people live tonight, so you just never know who's going to show up. But we always get about 450, 500 people that watch it on the rebroadcast and everything, so it'll get out. But anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. Hope more of you will come in because we really need all of the questions and stuff to keep the show going. Mayor says he got his notification. That's good. That tells me that at least it went out to some people. My YouTube's been doing weird things lately, and so I just never know. One thing it does, and this hurts me in the analytics, is it pulls comments and holds them for review, and so I might have to go in there and reapprove the same comment 3 or 4 times before it'll stay up, and it's really a big hassle. I wish that they would leave stuff alone, but it is what it is. All right, we've got just a small crowd right now, about 13 people. I won't hold y'all up anymore. Let's go in and jump into today's stuff. The first thing we want to do is cover the fuel surcharge this week. Let me get my notes. I've got everything scatterbrained here. So, what did my phone do? Looks like we're continuing Technical Tuesday. The national fuel average this week was 462.2. It's up from 460.4 last week. So fuel up almost 2 cents a gallon. The fuel surcharge this week with Swift for OTR people, and I'll go ahead and put the ticker up there. This week it was 56.4 cents per mile. Last week it was 56.1. And then the West Coast fuel surcharge. Man, that's hard to say. West Coast fuel surcharge, it remained at 8 cents like it's been since the beginning of time, I think. So Logic Neo's here, and I'm glad you're here too, man. We're going to be passing out some more wrenches tonight. And so if you're somebody that's done a super chat or something like that, the next time you comment, I'm going to give you a wrench. If it's somebody that I've talked to on the phone and knew pretty well, I'll give you a wrench. Or if that's something you want, just let me know and we'll get it to you. Logic Neo is with us. Hey, man, how's it going? Matter of fact, Logic Neo is going to be one of those people that gets a wrench. No, he's not, because it says he's already got one. I am not sure what's going on, man. Okay. Hey, Jeremy Terry also says hello. Logic, I don't know why I can't give you a wrench, but I have good intentions. Maybe later in the show. Jim Trucker is here. I've got a real good friend named Jim. I wonder if it's you. He says, Ryan says, hey, Todd, I'm just checking in, doing my Swift U right now, but I'm here. All right, good deal, man. Glad you're with us tonight. He's another one I'd like to have a wrench if we can figure out why it's not letting me. Maybe I have to do it on my other phone. Several of you are going to get wrenches. Yeah, here we go. All right, get ready. Logic, you now have a wrench. Ryan Harris, I know you. You know I have a wrench. Let's see who else we got here. Thanks, Logic. I appreciate it. I have to do it on the other phone, it looks like. I'm still learning all this stuff. I'm not as polished as some of the other guys. We got a lot to get into today, and we're going to jump into it here in a minute. I just, here lately, I've been neglecting saying hi to everybody, and I don't want to do that. I think it's rude. I know I did it Tuesday night because the guest only had a limited time, and I wanted to get as much time in as I could with him. But I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Just left Jonestown Terminal. It is upgraded and is nice. I'm in Houston tonight. Just trailers here for lounge, no showers or shop yet. Well, I'm on my way to Houston tomorrow. I'm picking up a load out here in Miraloma, California, and then I'll be going to Conroe, which is right over there by Houston. Hopefully the weather in Texas will be a lot better by the time I get there. Got an early Monday morning delivery over there. It's like Oprah, you get a wrench, you get a wrench, you get a wrench. Yeah, but she gives out Pontiacs. I'm not at that point yet. If it's going to take a lot more super thanks and a lot more things like that, a lot more subscribers before I can give out Pontiacs. Although since they don't make them no more, I may be able to get everybody a junk Pontiac pretty soon. But yeah, I'm Frank's another one that he needs a wrench. He's stuck with me, and I think Frank needs a wrench too. What we're wanting to do with these wrenches, guys, is it's okay if people disagree with me. I'm not like some of these other channels where people can't dislike me or people can't disagree with me. We just want to keep it clean and respectful, especially when we have guests on here. Guests don't want to come in a show where they're going to be in a sewer pit. So if you see somebody saying something really disrespectful to a guest, especially on the Tuesday night show, we want to either time them out or get rid of them. But I don't mind a healthy debate. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. I'm not doing some shows I used to do because of healthy debate. But anyway, it is what it is. Dante Butler. Hey, I'm back with Swift now, loving it. I'm on the Dick's Sporting Good account out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've actually heard pretty good things about that account. You're the first person I've talked to that's on it, but I also know Deontay, and we're going to make him have a wrench too. So, Deontay, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're here. Jeremy Terry, it's been raining all day. Yeah, this is the first place I've been out in California where I'm not in just terrible weather, and so it's good to finally be in warmer weather. But now I'm having to idle the truck, and I'm sure y'all can hear it in the background. Hello, West Coast Trucker. I'm actually in your neck of the woods. I'm in Miraloma right now. I waited over 2 hours to get a shower at this Flying J. Oh, it was Oldsmobiles. I thought Oprah gave out Pontiacs. Either way, they discontinued Oldsmobiles too. So who knows? In a few years, maybe I can get everybody a junk Oldsmobile. You get a junk car. You get a junk car. I just left Yuma, Arizona, headed to San Antonio. Man, you're going to be a little bit ahead of me, or I'd run with you. Like I say, I can't pick my load up till early in the morning, but I did call them today and see if I could talk them into it. It just, my Southern charm didn't work. Ryan says he's in Chattanooga. Yeah, Frank is a perfect example. He doesn't always agree with everything I say, but he keeps it respectful. And so if a guy like Frank comes in and comments and he's still respectful, then that's okay. But if they're going to call me names, and I mean bad names, and make fun of me and stuff, then that's not really productive and doesn't help anybody. And if they're going to say something bad about the guests, that doesn't really help either. And that makes it hard for me to get guests for Tuesday because they don't want to come in here and get beat up. But the Thursday show, we're usually not going to have guests. We're just going to cover what's gone on for the week. And I left Trucker CFO stuff down in the ticker because Since we did talk to him Tuesday night, some of you still but may be wanting to contact him. West Coast Trucker, I find it annoying that Coach just deletes you if you disagree with him. Yeah, I don't know why. If I can remember a time, and I'm not talking specifically about Coach here. I've got other examples on YouTube of people like that. That two guys could sit down and disagree on something and still be friends or whatever. But now, if you don't march in step with what the crowd thinks, then people want to cancel you and stuff like that. And I remember when the virus was going around, the word that starts with a C, it's 5 letters, has 19 on the end of it. I'm not allowed to say it on YouTube, but I almost got my channel taken down by YouTube for questioning some of the stuff that was going on back then. And it turned out I was right. Can you drift a Swift truck? I've never tried, but that's an interesting concept. I would say if your Swift truck is drifting, you're probably on ice and going a little too fast. Mayor says he'd like to know more about the Dick's Sporting Goods account. Yeah, maybe I can get somebody to come on that's in that account or something, and we can get some more information out about it. Baked Steaks Exotics says, do you still have that Stingray Corvette? And did I get it because of the movie Rush Hour? Yes, I still have the Corvette, and the funny story about that Corvette is I've totally screwed that car up. I ain't even gonna lie. And so my son is a mechanic, and I'm gonna try to get him over to my shop to work on it. But he's so busy and backed up at his shop that I may have to hire somebody, one of these mobile mechanics, to come over and fix it. I've totally butchered that car. I did start it time before last when I was in town, let it run for a little bit, but I've got the dash apart, and I can't get my hands where they need to be to plug the dash lights into the back of the speedometer. I've dropped the steering column. I've done all kinds of stuff, and it's a 50-year-old car, so the parts are just so brittle that you got to be careful, or they'll break. Chris Petrie left Holland, Michigan this morning, now in Georgetown, Kentucky, cloudy and cold. Yeah, some guys had said Tuesday night that Kentucky was terrible weather, so I'm not sure about that, but just be careful. Thanks, Deontay. I'm glad you're here too, man. Jim Trucker says he would like a Cutlass. Yeah, the old two-door Cutlasses. Put like a 350 in it or something. That'd be a heck of a car. Do I still get lost every once in a while? I get lost all the time. It's you're always, even after 25 years, you're going to go to places that you're not familiar with. I have multiple GPSs in here. I use one called Smart Trucker Route on my phone, or Smart Truck Route. I've got a Garmin. This not OmniTrax. This Zonar has a GPS in it, and sometimes all of those are wrong. Hey, James, Deontay says there's his email. If you want to call him, he'll tell you all about the Dick's Sporting Good account. And Deontay, I may call you and or email you tomorrow or something. We may try to see if you're willing to come on the show and talk about it and kind of give people updates on it and stuff like that, because all of these dedicated accounts, they're constantly changing. And if we could put out some information that'd help others, that'd be good. Lonely Trucker says, evening, everyone. I'm gonna give Lonely Trucker a wrench too. I've talked to him, or I think I've seen him in here before. Not sure if I've talked to him, but anyway, he's got a wrench. Keith Hayes says Swift rules. I'm pretty happy with them. Ryan Harris, and then after this, we're going to jump into the topics of the week. 69 GTO is his dream car. Yeah, I like that Corvette that I've got, but it's the slowest car I've got of all of them. It's a cruiser, and once I've got some stuff going on with it right now, but probably in a few months, I'm going to sell that car and get me a like a Mach 1 Mustang or a Cobra Mustang, old school car. Um, I'm kind of weird. I like the Mustang 2s, and most people hate those cars, but they've gone up in value, especially a 78. You guys Google this later when you get time. A 78 Ford Mustang 2 King Cobra. They only made them that 1 year, and it was mostly an appearance package, but it's kind of Ford's answer to the Trans Am, and it's a neat little car. The Corvette's already painted. Let me. I guess we'll do a few more questions. Shadow Frost said, "Good evening, hello," uh, and then I answered his about the Corvette, or I'm about to. It's maroon and it's got a good paint job on it. It's a really nice car, but I'm gonna probably get rid of it. I'm a Ford guy, and some of you may hate me for that, but every time I work on that Chevy, it's just like that dash. It seems like I screw something up, and most mechanics will agree a Chevy's easier to work on, but for some reason I have better luck with a Ford. Lonely Trucker says he appreciates the wrench. I assume that's he. I didn't get to look at the picture or nothing. But let's jump into a little bit of these topics so that we can get back to your questions and comments. Um, we already did the fuel surcharge. I want to tell you what's coming up on the Tuesday show, and I'm probably going to get in trouble when I get in this subject. Uh, I'll have Michelle Cantrell coming up on the Tuesday show at 5 p.m. Central. And I realized that another big YouTuber announced that he's going to have her on his channel on the 15th. That's okay. Um, all of these people go to multiple shows. I'm not offended by that. It doesn't bother me at all. I've had it booked for a couple of days, but I wanted to announce it on tonight's show. And I know that other YouTuber's been trying to book it as well for a while. I don't have any problem with it. I think it's great for everybody because we'll all get. I mean, he's going to ask different questions than I do, and so it's fine with me. There's no bad blood. It's nobody's trying to cut anybody's throat or anything like that. It's it's fine with me. But I'm excited to get her on. We're gonna, of course, I'm gonna ask the basic questions that everybody wants to know, but I hope you guys will come in with some good questions too. It'll be great to put a face with the name for some of you guys. I've met Michelle in person. Many of you have never seen her before or met her before. It'll be your first exposure to her, and so I'm excited to have her on. Um, Also, you guys know that I had Trucker CFO on Tuesday night. I want to talk a little bit more about that real quick. He called me after the show and we had an extensive talk, probably over an hour. And we talked about everything under the sun. And he's convinced me that I need my LLC and my S Corp. We're going to be doing that in the coming weeks. Again, I'm not suggesting that for anybody. I don't give tax advice. I would recommend you guys call them and do your due diligence and do what they tell you is best for your business. But I've got their phone number and website in the ticker, and they really are the real deal. You know, I had a guy that got on to me earlier this week because I did a commercial months ago, well, probably a couple of years ago, for A to B fuel card. And he said, "Why are you pimping a fuel card you never use?" And I said, "Go back and watch the video. I never said, get that fuel card. I said, check it out. I never said I use that fuel card. The only fuel card I've ever endorsed is the one I use now. And I've got the link down in the description below, and I'll put it in the comments after the video. But there's actually guys on YouTube right now that are promoting fuel cards they don't even use themselves. There's guys on YouTube right now with a financial channel telling people how to be successful lease purchase guys that can't even afford to fund their own fuel cards. And so if they can't even afford to fund their own fuel cards and they're not profitable enough, good, the truck shut off, and they're not profitable enough to do that, what makes you think that they're going to be able to give you advice to help you run a successful business? I actually show videos from time to time. I don't do it all the time. of what my savings with that fuel card is in the last 30 days. It's usually $1,200 to $1,300. Now I've been off a lot lately, so it's down. And January, production wise, was my worst month I've had at Swift. But there were some weather issues. I was at home a lot, things like that. But that's just what I want to say about that. So we can talk about Trucker CFO if you want to. Insurance. This is another thing. Those same guys I was just referring to uh, are always talking about saving money, doing the cheapest thing. One of them says he drives 55 miles an hour, and but yet he says he won't get the insurance I've got, even if it's cheaper. Well, why do you need your own insurance? Swift has recently said if you use their insurance, actually their insurance has said if you use their insurance, you have to get a forward-facing camera, and they've got 4 to choose from. I did get the Samsara purely to make videos about because I got my own insurance and I uh, don't have to have a camera at all now if I don't want to. And so that's what I want to say about that. So also people are saying on the cameras that if you're going to make that April 1st deadline, you need to get the camera pretty quick because they're expecting supply problems at some point. Also, let's see what else we want to talk about. I've talked about the fuel card. Let's talk about the load board real quick, and then we'll go back and I'll catch up on all your questions. So they were going to start adding third-party support from outside brokers and stuff. The third-party source they were going to use is making some changes to their platform, and I don't know who that third party is. And so that's going to be kind of a slower process than what they originally thought. They're also having some issues with the load board, so they've temporarily paused adding the 10 new contractors a week. There's currently 30 on there, and some things it's doing is like putting the wrong dates and times. And if you're on the load board, they want you to verify the times with your OOC to make sure that it's loads you can do and things like that. So that was the big things out of this week's load board. Let's jump back into these comments and get some of you guys the answers you're looking for. Yeah. Would I ever get a Challenger or a Hellcat? I'm not a big Dodge Chrysler person, but in Lubbock, there's a Charger with a 392 in it, and I drool every time I see that car. One commitment I've made to my wife is I'm not buying any more cars or toys until I sell one. I've currently got 4 vehicles, and 2 of them stay in my shop, and so it's just I'm paying insurance and stuff on cars that I rarely get to drive. I say that a few days a month, and it's really overkill. Some of them, like the Corvette's, an investment. I plan to make a profit off of it, but I plan on driving my pickup till the wheels falls off of it. My wife loves her car, and I'm on the fence about the cop car if I'll keep it or sell it. I've got it so nice now that I don't know that I want to get rid of it. I could put a paint job on it, and it would look like a brand new car, and so I'm tempted to keep it. You're welcome, Jeremy. I appreciate you being here, man. I trust all of you guys, but it's kind of like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. After I've talked to you guys a few times and I know I can count on you, then we'll pass out the wrenches, and hopefully I've got good judgment. If I'm wrong about some people, we can always pull it. But ideally, I'd like everybody to have a wrench. It's just we don't know who'll behave and who won't, and we'll find that out over time. You're also welcome, Ryan. He said, that's fine. I can do that. I know Swift has 3 Dick's Sporting Goods accounts: Atlanta, Georgia, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Smithton, Pennsylvania. See, you're the perfect kind of guy I want to get on the show because you've got actual facts. I won't be asking you questions and you going, well, I heard, or I think, or maybe. You've got, this guy knows the specifics, and so I'm going to try to get him on in the coming weeks, and we'll go back and look at that. And I guess James has his email now, so they can connect and get that information as well. This Trucking Life says sounds interesting. Yeah, it does. We're gonna look at that if I can find. We'll give this Trucking Life a inch too. Well, after she got all the calls today about what Dave was doing last night, why he's being a trainer, all Dale, she'll be on Jason's show. Yeah, it'll be in a couple of weeks because he's got to go on his cruise, and she'll be on my show Tuesday night. And I don't know if we'll hit that subject or not. I'm really not trying to stir up any controversy. I personally made a choice. Nobody ever told me to when I started this channel to not film any videos while I'm driving, because if you're ever in an accident, whether it's your fault or not, some lawyer is going to have a blast with you driving. And there was a large mega carrier. I'm not going to say their name, but they drive orange trucks that fired a lot of independent contractors because they were making YouTube videos while they were driving. So, and I think some other mega carriers have done it too. So I just made a personal decision that I make it very clear. I usually try to aim my camera where you can see out the window that I'm not moving. Tonight I've got my curtains drawn so everybody knows I'm not driving. And I definitely, me personally, I'm not saying anything against Dave. Me personally, if I had somebody that had been in my truck less than a week, I'd be watching them like a hawk, because they're not ready to let your guard down with, in my opinion. Dave's in the truck with them. He made a decision, and that'll be up to him and the safety department what happens there. But I can tell you, I didn't call Michelle. I didn't do anything like that. To me, it's a personal decision, but me personally, I wouldn't do it, and that's what I'd say about that. My flight got canceled today, so I fly out to Greer on Tuesday to see Michelle and finally get my truck. So many delays. Yeah, I want to talk about that too while we're in here, because a lot of people think, since it's a mega carrier, that it should be easy to get hired on. It's actually fairly challenging to get a job here at Swift. And I know that's going to surprise a lot of people. It can take 1 to 2 weeks to get hired on from start to finish. Generally, it's around 7 to 10 days, but it's not a quick process. They have their own CertiDrive doctors that they use for physicals. They do background checks. They do hair tests. They do all kinds of stuff. Verify your employment, all the FMCSA stuff that you would expect them to do. And in peak times, let's call it peak times, when they get a lot of applications, it can take 2 weeks. And getting mad and saying, well, I'm going to withdraw my application if they don't hurry, it really doesn't help anything. They can only go as fast as they go. They've got their procedures they have to follow. And just know when you apply, it may take a day or two for Michelle to get back to you. If she don't get back to you, you can email me. My email's in the ticker as well. I'll reach out to her. I'll try to get her in contact with you. But just know that it can take some time. And I know Ryan's been really patient. He's been waiting, and I'm excited for him to get his truck and see how it goes. The mayor says he sent Butler the email. LLC is taxed as an S corp. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if that's true or not. He had said you could be an LLC as a sole proprietor, but when we got into the details of my situation, he said I was definitely S corp material. And there's some income things he asked and stuff like that. And it depends what state you live in, what the cost is. That's why I'm not divulging the cost, but because it could be different in your state. And so, but I'm definitely going to do it probably in a couple of weeks. And so I'll let y'all know how the process goes for me. But again, it's illegal for me to give tax advice. So I'm not making any recommendations to any of you other than to call Trucker CFO and let them answer your questions. I will say this. I went back and watched that Tuesday video, and I don't know that I made it clear. You do not, I repeat, you do not have to be a Swift driver to get that Trucker CFO. He said he even helps people that aren't truck drivers. So anybody in need of accounting services, at least give them a call. It doesn't hurt nothing to hear what they have to say, and it helps me be able to book these people on the Tuesday show. If you tell them that Trucker Todd sent you, it also helps me if you notify me after you contact them and let me know how it went, because if I get 3 or 4 of you that say, "Oh, I called and they were no help, they were rude to me," then I can pass that on to them, and they can make adjustments based on that feedback. So you guys, please, after you call them, let me know what they told you, how it went. If you're signing up with them, that's information that I could really use. And so we'll move on to the next comment. Thanks, Mayor. Oh, probably one more thing I ought to say. I forget to say it in a lot of videos, but it's going to sound funny with me saying it tonight, with me wearing a Swift hat and a Swift shirt. It's very obvious I like it here at Swift. What might not be obvious is I am not a spokesperson for Swift. I'm not even an employee of Swift. I'm an independent contractor working at Swift. My views and opinions are mine and mine alone. And I have not been coerced, paid, or otherwise to come on here and say the things I'm saying. As a matter of fact, they'd probably pay me to stop saying some of the things I'm saying. But anyway, just want to get that out there. Oh, also, while I'm at it, I'm not a doctor. So if I say anything medical, I'm not offering medical advice. And I'm not a tax person. We've covered that. So anything I say, if it sounds too good to be true, do your own verifications, make your own phone calls, see if what I'm saying is true. West Coast Trucker, if you opt not to get your own insurance, who will pay for the camera install? As an independent contractor, you will pay for the camera install. It's between $600 and $700 if you get the 2 that they offer at the terminal, and then they pay the monthly fee on them. They've got 2 more that you can get, but they're at your expense. And so that's how that works. Oh, somebody gave me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you guys get a chance, that will also help get this video out to more people, since we can't always count on the notifications. So if you guys get a chance, I really appreciate that as well. So we got a load board question here. Are you using outside brokers such as C.H. Robinson on the program currently? The truth is absolutely not. Right now we're doing what they call 005 freight, which is solo dry van over the road freight. They are, I mentioned earlier in this video, they are trying to add third party support, which would be what you'd call outside brokers. But the third party that they're going to be using is changing their platform up. And so it's going to be delayed. They didn't give us a time frame for that delay, but it sounded like it might be later this year before those platform changes can be implemented. Lonely Trucker, that's a great question. Yeah, I just booked my second load today. So far for me, it's been flawless. Some of the other people in there were reporting some problems with information being wrong, or it taking a while for it to send the load to their truck after they booked it. I haven't experienced any of those things yet. I booked a load from Texas to California, and then tomorrow morning I pick up a load that's going from California to Conroe, Texas. So I've been really happy with it so far. Um, it's taken a lot of stress off of me, honestly. That and Trucker CFO are 2 big stress relievers, and I'm sure you can see it in my face. I feel a lot better now. Jeremy answered the question I did about you have to you have to pay. Now they do. That's one thing. two of the cameras, they'll pay the monthly service. The other two, if you get those, you have to pay for the camera and the monthly service. But an approved um, it's an approved camera. Uh, he wants to know the horsepower on the Stingray. So stock, it was somewhere around, I think, 170 something horsepower. It's a 75 Corvette, which was at the height of the 70s emission stuff. Now, keep in mind, this car is 47 years old now, or 48 years old, because the 23s are out. So it's had some modifications and changes since it was stock. It has Edelbrock intake, has a different carburetor, but I mean, it's probably 200, 225 at the most. And so it's I'm sure in 75 it was considered fast, but by today's standard, every car I've got would outrun it. And probably every car you've got would outrun it. But it sounds good and it looks cool. And um, I mean, at this point in its life, it's a parade car. And somebody, I'll probably sell it in a few months, 6 months or so. Somebody that had one in high school, or it was their first car out of college or something, will see that car and will want it. And I just, I'm going to tinker with it a little more, and then I'm going to send it on its way and get back in a Ford where I belong. We're gonna make it happen, Deontay. I'm gonna call you and we'll set it up. I don't know if you've ever done StreamYard or nothing before, but I'll kind of give you a quick orientation on how it works. I've got a show coming up in March where I'm gonna have several drivers on for like 15 or 20 minutes at a time, and you might be a good fit for that show. And so I'll look at my calendar and see exactly what day I set that for, and we'll try to get you on at that time. And I can't wait to hear about it. And by then you'll have some time in at Swift. We can find out how it's going for you, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, things like that. How many minimum miles would a used truck have to have for you to consider buying it? So trucks are a little different than an automobile. So in an automobile, a guy might say, well, I don't want to buy a car over 100,000 miles or something like that. On a truck, the mileage matters, but the service records matter more. So I would consider a truck that was high mileage. Matter of fact, I'm looking one right now that's extremely high mileage, but it's super cheap, and it had an end frame done about 250,000 miles ago, and it had a brand new transmission put in it 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's had all new brakes, all new, all kinds of stuff done to it. So on that truck, the mileage being excessive wouldn't bother me as bad as it would on some other trucks. But it's like buying a car. The lower the miles, the better. A good pre EGR truck can easily run over 1 million miles. And some of these new EGR trucks, if it got around 700,000, 800,000, you would just have to know that coming up, you're going to have some big maintenance bills. And so if I was going to buy an EGR truck that had 700,000 on it, I'd make sure I had 30 or 40,000 sitting in the bank, knowing that it was probably going to have some issues coming up soon. And so I hope I answered your question. If not, hit me with a follow-up question. We'll jump into it. Good afternoon, Dirty Diesel. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I started to say that, and I wasn't sure if it was true, but I think I remember hearing that Swift also, maybe a year or two ago, got rid of some pretty prominent YouTubers because they were filming while they were driving. Like I said, I've been YouTubing for a few companies now over several years, probably about 5 years, and nobody has ever specifically come to me and said, "Don't film while you're driving" or nothing like that. I just realized early on that it was something I wasn't going to personally do. Now, I gave myself a few self-imposed rules, and some of them have come later. One of my self-imposed rules was I wasn't going to mention people's names, without their permission. And I've mentioned James a couple of times tonight. He's gave me permission to use his name, but uh, there's guys in the office. If I thought Joe Smith was a good guy, I wouldn't come on here and say Joe Smith's a good guy without calling and saying, Joe, is it okay if I say you're a good guy? Because people have a certain right to privacy. And I say that right now as I've got people running background checks on me. I've got people right now trying to get my tax records and find out what my income is. I've got people right now trying to find out where I live. And the truth is, it's going to be all for nothing. First of all, if there was something there, I would just tell you guys because it's public record. But secondly, people aren't watching me to see because they think I'm a saint. People are watching me for the information and because they think I tell the truth. More times than not, the compliment I get most is I don't always agree with you, but I always feel like you're being honest with me. And so to me, that's like the ultimate compliment. That and when people tell me that my videos helped them or my phone call helped them or something like that. So I think at some point it's going to be the law of the land that hey, you shouldn't be filming while you're driving. And I realize they make GoPros that go on your head, and you can do it while you're driving. But if you're filming and you have an accident while that camera's going, they're going to say it's distracted driving, just like if you'd have been in a phone call when you had that accident. And I'm trying to limit the reasons somebody can come after me, not increase the reasons. Well, this one's pretty simple. What's your opinion on 1099 versus W-2 for a company driver? This is why AB5 and all these kind of things are coming about. It's technically, and again, I'm not a lawyer. This is my personal opinion. I believe it's illegal to be 1099 as a company driver. It benefits the company greatly because there's a bunch of taxes they don't have to pay on you, but it doesn't benefit you at all because you can't deduct the truck payment, the diesel. If you're going to do 1099 as a company driver, in my opinion, you'd be far better off to just go ahead and become an independent contractor somewhere. At least you could take your cell phone deduction, your per diem, your truck payment, and all that off your taxes. But that's just my 2 cents worth. And I know I'm not going to change anybody. You guys that want to run as a 1099 company driver, more power to you. Next time we get Trucker CFO on here, though, that is one of the things I want to talk to him about and get his take on it as well. Totally agree. As a trainer, you must stay focused on the task at hand. Remove all distractions in the cab while in motion and keep the driving environment sterile. That's what I would think, especially the first week. You get when he's in his fifth or sixth week and you're back in the bunk, if you want to video chat your wife or something, I get it. But that first week, it's so important to be paying attention. And I've even had guys call me and they're like, "Yeah, my trainee's driving, and I'm watching your YouTube videos while I'm driving." And I usually tell them, "Hey, listen to my video while you're driving, but watch the road, watch your trainee, because I mean people forget we've got, and it's worse now that we've got these driving aids in the truck, these lane departure things, and these following too close things." People have got overconfident in their technologies and they think, oh, I can play on my phone and my truck will save me. And the problem is if you're on your phone, by the time the truck reacts and then you react, too much time has passed. And so I just you know you go back, that Corvette's a perfect example. When you drive that car, you got to drive that car. It's not like these new cars. There's no lane departure. There's no beepers that if you get too close to somebody, you got to kind of, even though the steering's very good on it, you still got to kind of keep it in its lane. You got to shift it. And cars have become so automatic now that people think they got all this free time on their hands. It's almost boring for them to drive. And that's part of why I like driving that Corvette sometimes. So I just feel like I'm actually driving. What kind of food do you buy at the stores while you're out on the road? Because in one video you said you spent thousands. Yeah, that's a good one. So from when was it? 2010 or no, 2009 until 2014. I worked at Dart Transit. My wife was on the truck with me full time. It was in the height of the truck stop buffets. In 4 years, 4.5 years time, we spent over $100,000 eating out because we would go to these $17, $18 buffets. So for two people, that's $40 plus a tip. And then when you spend that kind of money, you feel like you need to gorge yourself to get your money's worth. And so we wasted so much money. Imagine if I had that $100,000 now, what I could do. I could probably pay cash for a truck. Imagine if I had half of it, 50,000, it'd probably buy me a decent truck. And so, uh, deeply regret it. My health declined because of it. I'm now on a bunch of prescription medications that I probably wouldn't have to have had I not made those decisions back then. But I was making good money, and I wanted to live high on the hog. Nowadays, I when I can, and I did this time when I left the house, trying to lose weight, trying to live a little healthier. And so I went to Walmart. I bought some grilled chicken. I got it in the freezer. Bought me a George Foreman grill. I bought some bananas, some apples, some string cheese, some things like that. And I bought some not grilled, yeah, some different flavored grilled chicken as well. And so now I'm trying to eat a little healthier. I do have some roast beef back there and some sandwich meat chicken, stuff like that. And so I've been trying to eat a little healthier. I'm by no means where I'd like to be, though. And I know some guys have got on here and made fun of the way I look or whatever, but that's not what this channel's about. But my doctor, the one I had before now, he uh, he thought I was rich. He's like, "Oh, you need to go to Whole Foods and buy this and buy that." And I told him, I said, I hadn't seen too many Whole Foods with truck parking, but I do the best I can out here. But when I lived in East Texas, I had a doctor, and he used to tell me, Todd, you don't have to live like a monk nutritionally. He said, just make little changes as you can, and you'll see a big difference. And that's what I've been trying to do. And, you know, the thing that irritates me when you go to the doctor is that they talk to you like you don't know. That they assume that you eat candy bars all day and chili dogs, and that's not the case. It's it's a little insulting when you go to a doctor and they start lecturing you like you don't know these things. But I'll tell you right now, and skinny people don't understand this, you can lose weight a lot slower than what you can gain it. You can gain weight very fast. If I wanted to fatten up, if I wanted to be 400 pounds, I could be 400 pounds in a few months. But if I wanted to go from 400 to 200, it could take years. Some people do it in months. It depends on your metabolism, your age, things like that, your genetics. But yeah, I'm trying to get some people that do nutrition on YouTube to come on the Tuesday show as well. And we're going to talk about it. Some of them have lost a lot of weight, and it's easier to hear it from people like that because they actually did it on the truck than it is to hear it from a doctor that's probably never been inside a truck. Ryan says it was worth the wait for the truck he's getting. Yeah, they refurbish the heck out of these trucks, and I think you'll like it. Jeremy agrees that Swift is a great company. Yeah, I've been trying to get to all his questions. Bake steaks. If I missed one of your questions, put it back up, and I'll hit it again. Yes, it's my understanding that in order to give tax advice, you have to be licensed. And that's why I've been running from all of your tax questions. And that's why I brought Trucker CFO on Tuesday. And that's so that we can have a licensed professional with, he said his business has been around 15 years with experience dealing with truck drivers to answer your questions. He's qualified to do that. And so I don't mind telling you what he said or my interpretation of what he said, but he'll be on the last Tuesday of every month. And when you guys ask good questions, I'll write them down and I'll ask him, or you guys can come on the show and y'all can ask him. This next show he's on, I'll have far less questions and we'll be able to get to a lot more of y'all's questions. So I hope y'all will join me for that. Is dry van the least paying compared to reefer and flatbed? Yes and no. So here's the deal. Dry van typically pays less per mile. However, reefer, you generally pull heavier loads and it's generally live load and live unload. Some places are drop and hook, but you're generally going to spend more time at grocery warehouses and the loads are going to be heavier. So it's a trade off there. And flatbed, same thing. Rates are generally better, but you're going to have more deadhead in most cases. And it takes longer to generally get loaded and unloaded because you got a tarp and strap and all of that. It really, this sounds stupid of me to say, but you really shouldn't do it for the money. You're going to make what you're going to make. And as you get better at your craft, you're going to make more. Find something you enjoy doing, and then it won't feel like you're working. If you're a guy that likes to work with his hands, maybe flatbeds for you. If you're a guy that is kind of laid back and you don't mind waiting to be loaded and unloaded, maybe reefers for you. And if you're a guy that likes drop and hook and to constantly be on the move, maybe dry vans for you. And that's the thing about trucking. There's something for everybody. There's tanker, there's pneumatic, there's oil field, there's all kinds of stuff. You just got to find what it is you want to do. Kind of do some self analysis. And once you know what you want to do, there's tons of opportunity. Hell yeah, even Willie knows that. I'm not sure what that was about. Some of the comments don't come through here, so I'm not ignoring you guys. If I miss your question, put it back up. Give me a few minutes to get to it, and if I skip it or miss it, put it back up, and I'll bring it back up, and we'll hit it again. Hi, Todd. As you have been in the testing group for the load board for a while, will you be mentoring the newer drivers like Jason Pote on how to use the load board successfully? So it's my understanding that Jason helped set up the load board at Schneider, and so he's got some load board experience. I don't foresee any contact between me and Jason in the near future, but I think he knows what he's doing or claims to know what he's doing. As far as mentoring drivers, I currently already do that. Every day I take calls and help people. I'm currently not helping anybody that's on the load board because Swift selected people for the most part that had load board experience or that had a good record with Swift. And so since it's a pretty small group, most of those guys have people they can contact. But any of them that do need help or have questions about where to go, where not to go, I'd be willing to help any of them. And so that's what I'll say about that for now. I have a 79 Pacer. It ain't outrunning anything. I had an aunt that had one of those, and it looked like a grape. It was purple, and it was voted in a magazine article I saw to be one of the ugliest cars ever made. But people back then bought those cars for fuel efficiency because the government was telling them we were going to run out of oil, and they were trying to make it last as long as they could. Let's see. A refrigerator in your truck and a microwave, also a 12-volt plug-in oven will save you many dollars. Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes, especially in the winter, it's just so cold. You don't want to get out and walk across the parking lot into the truck stop to buy a $12 hamburger. and you can just cook in your truck and turn on the TV or the Xbox or whatever you're into. And so, yeah, I've got it pretty comfy in here. I don't mind cooking something to eat and staying in here. I've got some salad stuff back there. That's probably what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. A nice salad. Let's see. Slip Dog. That's another one. Mr. Slip Dog needs a wrench. Let me see if I can find him real quick before we get to his question. The problem is once I end this live, it doesn't let me back in there to go fix it. So I'd like to do all this when we finish, but I'm not always able to. He just got off work, long day running local. Yeah, I feel you, man. Local is good, but it can be hard work depending on what you're doing. Ryan says hello to Slip Dog. Yeah, I covered that earlier in the video. I personally wouldn't do it. It's a personal choice I made when I started the channel. But I'm not in the truck. I don't know the skill level of the driver he's training, but I would assume they're new. And it's not a decision I would make. I don't know if he violated any safety policies at Swift or not. It's my understanding that several people sent video to Swift today and we're trying to get him in trouble. And I'm sure if he did something wrong, they'll be having a conversation with him. And if he didn't do anything wrong, they won't. So me personally, I wouldn't do it, but I can't speak on what other people do. I see people do stuff all the times in trucks that I wouldn't do, putting their feet on the dash, putting their makeup on, reading the newspaper, even watching my YouTube videos. I tell people if you're going to watch my videos while you drive, put the phone face down or the screen where you can't see it and just listen to it through your radio. Most of my videos aren't visual, and the ones that are visual, you can go back and watch them later when you get parked. But yeah, it's definitely not something I would ever did when I trained, and so that's what we'll say about that. I did not know this. Deontay is a mentor, so if we got any people in here that are maybe considering coming to Swift and would like to work with Deontay, he's here. He did put his email up earlier, and when we get him on the show, I'll have his email in the ticker if he tells me I can, and you guys can reach out to him to ask him about the Dick's Sporting Goods account or about training and things like that. I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you about that, but I hate to volunteer him for anything. That's totally up to him. Jeremy says he's going to become a mentor for Swift very soon. That's great, man. We need good people that have a heart for doing that. I've got so much junk on the truck, and it's so hard with all the videos and everything I do for me to really be an effective mentor. But I do the second best thing in just talking to guys on the phone and trying to help them that way. And so I wish you the best doing that, man. Yeah, that's what you need. He says he's been a mentor at several companies, and safety was always his biggest thing. There's so many out here that their biggest thing is to see how much money they make. The quicker they can get them in the seat and run like a team and make money is what they're after. They don't care if the student learns anything. I'm not talking about Swift. I'm talking about mentors and trainers in general. And it's good to meet guys like you, Jeremy, that are really trying to teach safety and taking it seriously out here. Yeah, yeah. He said Frank says he don't think he could be a mentor. The trucks are too small to have someone with you. I've said this in other videos. My trainer was as close to perfect as you could get. He would take me on, it was almost like being on a vacation. We'd tour ships. He'd take me to restaurants, buy my meals. I mean, he taught me the truck inside and out. But at the end of 6 weeks, even as great as he was, we was ready to go our separate ways. We could have killed each other. And I've never seen him since that day. I have talked to him on Facebook a couple of times, but it can be challenging even with the best trainer-student relationship. unless it's like a husband and wife, and then I bet that presents a whole other host of problems. But I just I had a bad experience in Dallas with a Prime train. When I worked at Prime back in 2004, I trained a guy, and I had a bad experience at the truck stop there in Dallas, and since then, I've just not had a desire to ever train again. And like I say, this is close, so I'll get to it talking to you guys on the phone. Jeremy says, Frank, if you ever in an international, you would think these KWs and Cascadias were mansions. Yeah, I it seems like the internationals have a lot of good cubby holes though. I was able to survive in the international I had. I had an international LT, and it wasn't a bad truck, but I definitely I definitely like Peterbilt the best, and Kenworth the next best, and Freightliner and Volvo fall somewhere in there too. That Peterbilt was hard to beat. Not sure what Joe Adams. Oh, I like the eyeballs. That's pretty cool, man. It looked like two dots at first. So Pee Wee Pullett says, does Dart have a load board? So here's the answer: yes and no. They had one when I was there. You selected loads from 87 brokers. You called, you negotiated your own rates, everything. It was a 70-30 split. They have since froze it. So they have it, and some people are on it, but they're not letting anybody else on it because spot market rates have crashed. Now, again, I hadn't worked there in a while, so the information I'm giving you is what I've been told by people I have that still work there. And so they do have a percentage option still, which where they dispatch you and you get 68%. And a lot of guys are doing that right now. So the percentage option is there if you want it, but most of the guys over there are doing mileage pay right now until the rates improve. And so they typically run I-35 East. And so if you want to be in their hiring area, you've got to be east of I-35. There are, like everything else, there's some exceptions to that. Occasionally they go to Albuquerque, occasionally they go to El Paso, but for most part, that's the general rule. Flatbed gets $1.25 for less than 1,000 miles, $1.23 for more than 1,000. Get 65 to tarp. Yeah, I've never done flatbed, so I don't know if that's good or bad. But if you add the fuel surcharge on there, it looks like I can't see how it would pay any more than dry van would. But on spot market rates, reefer and flatbed do pay better than dry van generally. I'm doing great, Willie. How are you? If you choose outside truck insurance, will Swift still pay deduct, or do you have to pay the insurance company directly? Okay, so also he wants to know about health benefits. So if you get an outside insurance company, you're going to have to pay for it yourself. That's no big deal. I gave my insurance company a card, and they hit it once a month. It's 500 and something dollars. And I would make an argument that you want that. Um, Here's what I find, and I'm not speaking specifically to you here, and then I'll get to your health insurance question. The more that you're under the Swift umbrella, the more danger you're in my opinion. Again, I'm not a lawyer. If an AB5 type rule were to ever go into effect, and I realize there's none that are really floating around right now, but you just think about what an independent contractor is. You're starting your own business. Many of you are getting LLCs and S corps, and the more independent you can be, the more independent you are. You know, if you want to defeat that argument that you're a glorified company driver, you should be able to handle making your own insurance payment. You should be able to get your own camera, things like that. In the ideal world, the only thing you should have financed with the company is the truck itself. Now, I still kept my occupational accident with them, which they hate when I call it this, but it's like workers' comp because it was within $1 of what OOIDA's was. And I thought, well, if I got hurt on the job, it'd probably be easier to file a claim through Swift's occupational accident since they're the motor carrier than it would be going through mine. But everything else, the more I can move away from Swift, and this ain't nothing bad about Swift, it's just part of the independence thing. Then if I want a trip lease or if I want to port my truck to another company at some point, I've already got those things in place and I'm not scrambling to get them done at the last minute. Deontay says, yeah, that's fine. Anybody can reach out to him. See, this comment right here tells me Deontay's a great trainer because this is what you want to hear your trainer say. Do it if you really love teaching. I'm not in it for the money. I run super solo, not team. So, see, he's doing the way I believe all trainers should do, super solo. So he is getting a few extra miles, but he's up there in the seat watching his student, giving them feedback while they're driving. And he's exactly, if I had a kid that was going to go through becoming a truck driver, I would want them to be with the Deontays of the world because he gets it. It's what he's doing is probably influencing the trucking industry more than any of my videos ever will. The next generation of truck drivers are going to be what they are based on the trainers we've got. So what he's doing is really important, and I appreciate all you trainers that are taking it seriously and not just trying to make a quick buck. Trucker John, Frank O. Being a mentor isn't too bad. I trained when I was with Knight, never ran as a team, and it was pretty rewarding for me. Well, there you go. That's something else I've got to do. I've got to learn more about Knight. And I don't know how I'm going to do that because if I start asking questions, it starts looking like I want to jump ship and go to Knight. But Knight is in the mix, and so I do need to know more about them, and I'm going to figure out how to make that happen. I got big plans this year, folks. I'm home every other day, so my students stay in the company hotel by the. Wow, yeah, that's a good deal for them, I guess. It would be nice if he was over the road so they could kind of get a feel of what road life's like, but I can tell just by the way you're commenting on here that you'd have a lot of good information to share, even if you're home every other day. I see couples with 2 or 3 dogs in their trucks too. No idea of how they do it. Yeah, I've seen some trucks out here that the husband, the wife, and 3 kids will get out, and I don't know how they do that. And then they got a big German Shepherd in there too. I bet it smells atrocious in those trucks. Woof woof. Yeah, I'm glad you told me this because I saw you in the Tuesday night and I didn't get to respond. Um, the problem with that is it's hard for me to answer you because first of all, if you're intrastate, which means you never leave the state you're in, there might be a logbook provision where you can do that in your state, and I don't know. But if you're running outside of your state, you're subject to the FMCSA rules. Now, what it says a company can make a stricter rule than what the FMCSA says, but they can't make a laxer rule. So, for example, on a 10-hour break, your company could say we require a 12-hour break, and you'd have to take a 12-hour break, but they can't shorten it beyond what the FMCSA says. Now, your company may be talking about split logging, and you can split log, which would be like an 8-2 split or a 7-3 split. But there's requirements to do a split log, and you want to make sure you're legal because here's what's going to happen. You're going to pull in a scale, and I was watching Cassius King's video earlier today, and he got pulled in a scale, and they spent over an hour going through his logbook. And when they see you're doing 8-hour breaks every day, guess who's going to get the fine? It's not, well, your company might get one, but you're going to get one. They're going to come after you. They're going to put you out of service. You're going to pay fines. And the most important thing, you're going to get PSP points on your record. that can make it real difficult for you to get a job. So I don't know the details of why they're telling you to take an 8-hour break, but just be careful is all I can tell you. I just started looking at your channel. I used to drive for Swift years ago. Thank you for breaking down the pay for the lease program. I would have the lease from them if I understood back then. Well, honestly, it's probably a good thing you did. In the last 3 years, they've made a lot of changes to the Swift lease. They've changed the contracts, everything. And I'll give you an example. Uh, when I started Swift back in 96, somewhere around 97 or 98, I think it was in 97, they started advertising their lease purchase. Back then, you had to put $10,000 down. And right now, it's currently no money down. Now, they're talking about doing a down payment. And we're going to ask Michelle about that on Tuesday night. But yeah, it's definitely better the last 3 years. But um, they're just, and I'm not tooting my own horn here. There's not a lot of good resources that will give you the facts and try to help you succeed. There's a lot of guys on YouTube that'll say, "Come to Swift and give my recruiter or give your recruiter my driver code," and then you never hear from them again. And if you call and you tell them you're having a bad week, they'll block you on their channel. That's not me. If you call me and you say, "Hey, I'm having a bad week," I say, "All right, let's take a look at it. Let's figure out why. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again." And usually within 5 minutes, I can figure out what your problem is and what a solution is. But there's so many there's YouTubers. There was one at Hirschbach, and I'm not going to say his name. Oh, this is the greatest place ever. He was living on referral bonuses. And then all of a sudden, he saved up enough money and he got his own truck and he was out of there. So it wasn't that he liked Hirschbach, it was that he liked the referral bonuses. And do I want your referral bonus? Absolutely. Am I still going to help you if I don't get it? Absolutely. I do it every day. So it's just one of those things. It's so hard to believe what you hear on YouTube. I had one guy, I'm not going to say the trucking company. "Oh, Todd, I make $6,000 a week take home." I said, "Send me 3 months worth of settlements." He sent me over 3 months, but he cherry picked the weeks that was good. One of them, he had a $4,000 sign on bonus. That was the week he made over 6,000. And I'm going, "Well, you take out the sign on bonus and you're at 2,000, and your fuel wasn't on there either. You had your $1,500 worth of fuel on there. Now you're at $500. You made $500 this week." But he was hoping that he'd put that in the comments of my videos and people would go, "Oh, I want to work there." And it's just it's not a good thing. I'm going to be here in a few weeks. It's looking like I'm going to be in Greer at that terminal. I stay there for several days so that guys can come there and meet me if they want to, because you'll see if you're there, they're going to say, "Hey, Todd, you really helped me. Thanks." I don't have to hide because I'm not out here deceiving drivers and things like that. But we got YouTubers, big YouTubers here at Swift, that they won't even tell you where they're at because they've lied to so many people that they're afraid of repercussions. But maybe I've said too much there. They're still offering the lease purchase right now. The down payment has been temporarily. Yeah, that's correct. They've temporarily suspended it. It's supposed to come back sometime this month, but we don't know when. And like I say, I'll have Michelle on Tuesday night, and we're going to pick her brain and get the answers to these kind of things because she's a lead recruiter here at Swift. And if anybody will have the answers, it'll be her. And it may be that she hasn't been told yet, which would be good news. That'd mean that we got a little time. Flatbedder Rick says, "Hello from Maine." Hello. That's one of the states I hadn't been to in a long time, and I'd like to get back up that way. So trip leasing. Trip leasing is where there's some criteria that has to be met. But let's say that Boss Cedric has a DOT number, everything. He's got some freight. I could cover up the signs on my truck and make sure my insurance requirements were right. They've got some criteria you got to follow. To me, it's not worth it, but there's a few guys that do it. and then I could go work for Boss Cedric for up to a month. I have to pull one Swift load during that month, and that's one of the changes that's in the new contracts where guys can do trip leasing. Like I said, it's more of a hassle than what it seems like it'd be worth to me. But I know some guys that do it, and so that's what trip leasing is. But like when you get your insurance, especially if you get an outside insurance, you've got to make sure that your insurance allows trip leasing, and you've got to make sure it's approved by Swift and things like that. So if you're at Swift currently and trip leasing is something you're interested in doing, contact Rapid Response, and they'll walk you through the process of how to do that. I used to work for Knight. Hit me up, Todd. I had driver recruiter on my truck. I can help out with them I can help. I was with them 2018. Yeah, Ryan, you may be another one that we want to put on that show we're doing in March. Put you on for about 15 or 20 minutes and let you tell me more about Knight. I don't want to do it for a whole hour because we've got a lot of questions, as you can see, that come through, but each of you has a different perspective of things. And so if I can get you, email me and let's set something up. I'm going to be calling you guys, and we'll set something up. Intrastate, no need for log. I'm not sure that's true. I know if you're in a 150-mile air radius, there's no need for a log. But there's a lot of, again, it's one of those devil in the details. There's a lot of requirements there. But I know if you run Texas only, you still have to have a log because I used to do that. Good evening, Rooster Cruiser. Thanks for joining me. All right, Willie's Pub. Have a great night. Thanks for coming in. I can give you the good and bad about Knight. Email me, guys. All right, Ryan put his email up. If y'all are curious about Knight, there it is. Give him an email and he'll get with you on it. If you run super solo, you can still average about 700 to 800 miles a day and still be able to watch and teach the students. Yep, I agree with you completely, Deontay. Companies never get fines for driver logs. It's the driver's responsibility. Yeah, I don't know about that either because they do audits at these terminals, and I know one. I'm not going to say which company it is. One of the companies I was at, they got fined for logbook violations, but I'm always careful when we say words like never or always because there's exceptions. I would agree most of the fines go to the drivers, but I know they do audits on the companies themselves. Yeah, that's the only downside to my account. I can't really show them the real OTR life, unfortunately, but I guarantee you they will be ready for the road when done training with me. Yeah, I agree with you. James knows exactly which YouTuber I was talking about. Are you serious? I can't believe he went back to Hirschbach. That's hilarious. Greer is going to be home terminal. Greer was my home terminal for the first few weeks, and I transferred to Oklahoma City just for time zone, basically. I like to be in a terminal that's in my home time zone for logbook reasons, for access to them during the day, things like that. Don't come up this weekend, LOL. Going to see -60. Wow. Yeah, it won't be this week. I'm on my way to Houston. I'm trying to get to Chicago to look at a truck, and I'm trying to pass through my house to pick up a new laptop I ordered if it gets there. So we'll see how that plays out. Truckabo. Hello, salute to you too as well. Thanks for being here. Good call, Todd, trying to maintain your independence from Swift. The AB rules in California have made it impossible for lease operators. Now the feds are trying to, yep. And I realized I didn't answer his healthcare question. It's my understanding, we're going to get clarification from Michelle on Tuesday, that they do offer some benefits. But in my experience, ones that are offered to independent contractors aren't really that great. I got a plan through healthcare.gov. I pay a little over $300 a month for it, and I'm pretty happy with it. One of my medications that I take is over $2,500 a month, and I pay $30. So health insurance is mandatory for me, and I'm pretty happy with that plan. I was opposed to healthcare.gov when it came out, but now that it's here, I use the tools like everybody else. I couldn't imagine -60. I was just in Minnesota. It was -9 with a feels like of -20. Coldest I've ever been in was back, I want to say, in '97. I went to Lansing, British Columbia, and it was like -50. And I decided then I never wanted to go to Canada again. Ryan says, sure, no problem, Todd. Man, we're going long tonight. We're at 121 right now. Let's see. 150-mile radius, no log unless you go over 14 hours. I do paper and company files it. Yeah. Yep, that's what it is, Slip Dog. Yeah, I didn't get to watch Coach's show yesterday, but it's my understanding that my name came up in there. Several people asked where I was at, and Coach made it abundantly clear that I wouldn't be appearing on his channel no more. And some people even described him as angry. What can you do? It, like I said, it's a scheduling thing for me. I wish those guys the best, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do. I don't have anything negative to say, and I hope he has fun on his cruise. And I'll try to watch when he has Michelle on his channel on the 15th, because I'm sure he'll come up with some really good questions. And then, like I say, I'll have her on Tuesday night as well. So this is actually a really good question. Hey, Jerry. Jerry's another one that needs a wrench. Jerry, we're fixing to give you a wrench. All right, Jerry has a wrench. So Swift does have black trucks. It's like anytime you get specific in color, they're harder to find. They also have, I found out recently, a very, very few manual transmission trucks from time to time. It's going to be a unicorn. It's going to be hard to find, and it's going to be an older truck. It's going to be probably an 18. And so if you get real specific, you may be waiting a while and it may never come. But for the most part, like all these companies are doing, they're all switching to automatics for fuel efficiency. And let's be honest, to keep from inexperienced drivers tearing up clutches and things like that. Ryan is correct. Truck inventory changes daily. I would say it actually changes hourly. I mean, it's one of those deals. You've got 6 recruiters, if I remember correctly, for the owner operator lease purchase side, and all 6 of them are just buried in phone calls and applications, and trucks are going just as fast as they come out of the shop. And so, they're going to do their best to get you what you want, but just know they don't have little elves making trucks, and they can only give you what's there. And at the end of the day, a truck is a tool, and that's how you need to think of it. If we all want a big, shiny, pretty truck with chrome and chicken lights and all of that, but what makes you money is the tool. You want to get something reliable, that's been maintenance properly, that's going to make you money going down the road. And so just keep that in mind. But hopefully they have what you want, or they can get what you want, because they want you to be a happy driver going down the road, making them money and making you money. They don't make money if you don't make money. Did I just go after Coach and Cooper? No, I don't have anything bad to say about either one of them. I wish them the best. Uh, let me say this about Cooper. Cooper's one of those guys that I will guarantee you, whether you agree with him or not, he's honest. Say what you want about Cooper. He's not a scammer. He's not trying to get just out here to get referrals and lying to people. Uh, Cooper's a good guy. He's a hard worker. Every video you ever see Cooper in, you've never seen Cooper do a video from his house. He's out here in the truck. He's working, and so I've, to the best of my knowledge, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever said anything bad about Cooper. And Coach is a good guy also. Is there ever times that Coach and I have disagreed on something? Absolutely, absolutely. We're both opinionated, uh, and so there's going to be times we disagree. The last time I was on his show, we had a pretty good debate. I thought it went well. I'm not back on there no more, so I don't know if he didn't think it went well. I did think it was a little bit of a struggle for me to do 3 shows a week while I drive a truck full time and try to put out recorded videos. But no, I don't have any ill will towards any of those people. Uh, 404 Dave, I don't have nothing against him. I don't really know Lonnie, so I wish them the best over there. And like I said, when they have Michelle on, I'll be watching that show, provided that I'm somewhere where I can. And who knows? Occasionally on Wednesdays I may watch, but I really am. I really do have a full plate right now, and that's why I'm not doing it. If he's got a grievance with me about something I said or something I did, that's on him. I've found it possible. Um, there's trolls I like that they can't stand me, but I enjoy their content. And it's possible for me to like people that don't like me. It's possible for me to still listen to people that have a different opinion than. And I will. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I think we're back. We lost everybody for a second. Willie's Pub says the knives are out. Deontay says it's easier for the school and mentors to train on automatics. Yeah, I bet it is because uh, everybody seems to struggle with shifting in the beginning. Yeah, the wrench symbol makes you a mentor. I mean, well, you got me thinking about mentors. Makes you a moderator. If if you see a comment or something that you feel's out of line, you can click on it and they will. You can time them out for a few seconds, or you can completely remove them from the channel where all they can do is watch and not make a comment. Um, I would say if it's somebody that disagrees, we're not like other channels. It's okay to disagree with me, but let's try to keep it clean. Let's try to keep it respectful, especially when we got guests on here. Nobody wants to come on and be interviewed if we're going to make fun of them or talk bad to them. So hopefully we can all be adults in the room. But yeah, you've got a wrench because you've come in a lot and you've had good comments, and I appreciate you being here. I just gave Tim back one also, and so I'm trying to get more moderators. Some of mine fell off because um, they're not able to be on here no more. So it's good to add some new ones, and hopefully you guys will help me out. I see that somebody blocked a comment, uh, so I'm glad you guys are taking care of that for me, so that I can concentrate on getting you guys good answers. I'm doing good, Tim. Thanks for being here, man. Deontay, but they get the auto restriction on the CDL. Yeah, that's true. And I thought it was a joke the first time I heard that. If you don't take your CDL test in a manual truck, you can only drive automatics. So when you're in truck driving school, I would try to learn on a manual if it's an option at that truck driving school. Even if you never use it, it's good to be able to drive anything. I learned in a 10-speed, and after Minter had a manual for about a month, they switched me to auto. I prefer auto, but happy I don't have. Yeah, exactly. I prefer an auto when I'm in a lot of traffic, but in bad weather, I prefer a manual. In mountain climbing situations, I prefer a manual. Things like that. Yeah, they're getting harder and harder to find. I would say, I bet you have to special order if you want a 13 speed or an 18 speed now. Uh, so Randy Spears said Narc sent him. Um, well, tell Narc I said hi. Um, let's see who else we got here. Yeah, unfortunately, Swift only has automatics. Yeah, and like I said, it'll take an act of Congress to get you a manual with Swift, but they are out there. There is a few of them. I saw in a Swift video where they was talking about they found one for a couple of guys. It's just it's not going to be the norm. If tomorrow morning everybody calls and says I want a 10 speed, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. No, I'm wondering that too. Tim wants to know if anybody knows if Dallas has thawed out yet. He's got to deliver there in the morning. I'm on my way to Houston. I'm picking up a load in the morning. I'm in Mariloma, California, going to Houston. And so I'm hoping the Texas weather improves too. And then I really need to go to Chicago. So I'm hoping I can get something out of Houston running up to Chicago. So it's my understanding he wants to know how long they'll hold your application. It's my understanding that it'll hold for about 30 days. Um, he says he'll be ready in July or August. Definitely, it's not going to hold for 6 months. And so when it gets closer, I would say probably mid-July is a good time to put in an application. Just know that it could take up to 2 weeks. So put it in a week or two before you're really ready to go there, and that gives them time to process you and get you through the stuff they need to get you through, and you're not frustrated at that point. Do they still have the academy in Richmond, Virginia? That's where I went in 2017. I can say with a straight face, I honestly don't know. I believe so. It seems like I talked to a guy that was going through that academy, but I've talked to so many people lately here that I honestly can't remember. Ryan heard that it's starting to thaw, but the roads are still pretty slick. Yeah, so tomorrow morning, just be real careful. Trucker Jay confirmed it. He says that the ice is melting in Dallas. So there you go. That's another good thing we can do here. We're all helping each other out, like the CB used to, but we got a lot more range here. We can cover the whole country. Okay, folks, we're at an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half. If anybody's got anything else, we'll get to it, and if not, we'll cut it short. Sam wants to know, what do I do to stay healthy on the road? Well, I wish I was healthy on the road. I'm trying to make improvements to better myself, um, especially now. And so I've started trying to eat healthier. I'm trying to eat more lean meats. I've got more fruits and vegetables in here as snacks. I generally have beef jerky, even though it's expensive for that low carb diet stuff, and things like that. I try to park near the back of a lot of truck stops to get more walking in. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I think you guys can see in the video. I'm not a health fanatic. I'm not the picture of health, and I probably never will be. But I'm trying to make little improvements where I can. Being on a truck and doing diet and exercise is difficult. I've reached out to two different YouTubers that kind of have diet and exercise channels on their trucks, and I'm hoping I can get one of them on the show to talk about it because I think it's something we all struggle with and information we could all use. Joe Adams says what a lot of truck drivers feel: if you ain't driving a stick, you ain't a truck driver. And while I get where the sentiment's coming from, I'd say this. So if your personal vehicle doesn't have a stick, are you a licensed driver? You know what I mean? It's that's like saying if your truck don't have air conditioning, you're not a driver. I don't know that I necessarily agree, but I know it's hard. I've been at it 25 years. It's hard for me to accept an automatic, but I've got used to it and I've adapted. Yeah, exactly. Stay away from fast food and exercise. Another thing you can do if you have to eat fast food, say McDonald's, order the quarter pound patties without the bread, without all the fixings, and just eat the meat. That's a low carb deal. They used to have grilled chicken. I don't believe they do anymore. But I used to order like a grilled chicken patty and a quarter pounder patty. They were about $2, so they're cheaper than a hamburger, and that's a lot healthier option. One thing my doctor said: when you go to the grocery store, walk around the outside of the grocery store, the produce, the things like that, the meats. Stay out of the center portion of the grocery store. He said that's where all the bad stuff is. You too. Have a great night, Slip Dog. Thanks for coming in. We sit a lot, so it's best to keep your food intake to a minimum. Yeah, or just consume stuff that's easily digestible, that doesn't have a high fat content or a lot of sugar. I guess I better say I'm not a nutritionist either. Somebody will get me for that too. Ron Romero says, great show. I'm giving him a wrench too. Just eat real unprocessed foods and move more. Yeah. Yeah. Even if, and I realize a lot of guys don't want to do it when the weather's like it is. Just get out and walk around your truck 3 or 4 times. Right now, most of you are maintaining the weight you are. So if you eat just a hair healthier and do just a hair more exercise, it's going to make a difference. I was drinking regular Coke, and I mean a lot. I was drinking 3 or 4 of the 44 ounces a day, almost a gallon of Coca Cola a day, which is terrible for you. And now I drink maybe one Coke Zero a day or every other day. And the rest of the time, I'm drinking water. And my wife got me, I thought this was stupid when we got it. She got me this circle, and there's how you spell it, Cirkul. And you put these sugar free flavored things in them, and they're great. I drink them things all day long. I thought it was a dumb idea when we bought them, but I use it more than she does now, and it's helped a lot as well. On the Swift YouTube channel, they have some videos with some health coach guy that shows some stretches and exercises. Yeah, that's good. I haven't seen those videos. Jerry says it's 33 degrees in Dallas. Wow. It's like 60 here in, well, it's higher than that. Yeah, 67 degrees here in Miraloma right now according to my watch. I wish you could have been here earlier too, Tim, but I'm glad you're here now. I've really enjoyed you commenting in the last few videos. Thank you for being here, man. I mean that. Ryan's doing kind of what I'm doing: park away from the truck stop, exercise. Hey, his wife is a nutritionist. I can get her to email some information to you if that's okay. Yeah, yeah. If she sends it to me, I'll make a recorded video for everybody. Or if she wants to come on the show, I'll bring her on, and she can talk about diet and exercise and things. She'd be great to have on too. I would drive goat if they were. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's just a tool. Have a good night. All gotta get some sleep. Running early tomorrow. All right, Tim. Have a good one. Be careful. Joe, did I not get? Yeah, you're right. All right, Joe. You got your wrench. I'm sorry, man. Some people fell through the cracks. So yes, the Swift terminals, most of them do have a small gym. I haven't been to every one of them, but to the best of my knowledge, every one of them I've been to, with the exception of Las Vegas, had a gym. Las Vegas doesn't have anything yet, but it's because they're building it. So it will. They're making modern terminals out of all of them, so it will. Randy Spears says he was timed out. I honestly don't know why I didn't do it, and I didn't even see your comment. Um, so I really don't know. Oh, here we go. Ryan says he misread your comment. So, Randy, if you'll ask your question or put your comment back up, I'll make sure and go to it. Truck's about to start. Okay, truck started. Yeah, sorry about that, Randy. Oh yeah, I responded to that. I said, tell Narc hi for me. You know, this will shock you. I know Narc's been kind of critical of me. I heard that recently he had said some stuff about me. I know he has a negative name for me, but I actually like Narc. I actually think his videos are funny, most of them. Uh, he's sometimes like me. Sometimes we all go over the line a little bit, but I'm not sure why he doesn't like me or what he specifically don't like about me. But um, I don't really I don't have an issue with Narc. I think, like I said, most of his content's really funny, and so I wish him the best. Joe Adams says, "Welcome back, Randy." Anything else before we put this to a close? All righty, guys. I guess we'll go ahead and bring this one to a close. I want to thank everybody for being here. Oh, here we go. We got another comment. Yeah, Narc is funny. I would agree with that. It He is funny. Sometimes, especially some of the stuff he says is hilarious. Narc's one of those guys. I bet in person that you would just laugh and laugh and laugh. But for some reason, he don't like me, and that's okay. Like I said earlier in the video, I like lots of people that don't like me. That's okay. It's not a requirement, and you know, I do wish him the best, and that's whether he likes me or not. But that's I'm sure I've said too much, and I'm going to stir stuff up. But he is funny. I would agree with that comment. Thanks, Mayor. You do a good job avoiding the drama. As we age, we grow patient and wise until we find out where they park and flatten their tires. Uh, I wish that was true. There's some definitely been some times, it's all over YouTube, where I didn't react the way I wish I would have, and so I've got some regrets, folks. It's like I said. There's people trying to pull my taxes. There's people trying to run background checks on me. I'm not perfect. I'm human just like you are. All I am is one truck driver trying to help people and have a good time out here. And to some people, that ticks them off, and that's okay. But it's if I'm not going to qualify as a priest, I'm not going to qualify as a choir boy. I'm just a truck driver, and I'm giving my opinion and my advice, trying to help people. And so that's where we're at on that. There's a lot of people that feel that way. There's a lot of people that feel I'm a bozo. You're welcome, West Coast. Thanks for coming in. We're going to wind it down here pretty quick. we might as well go to the 2 hour mark. We can go another 15 minutes and get some questions. It's actually a shadow. My eyebrows are normal, but it's actually the color of my hair when you shine these lights on it makes it go away. Like a lot of people, let me show you this too. It looks like I'm bald, but I actually have hair. I keep it short because it's easier to maintain out here on the road. You go back and watch some of my early videos, I had long hair, but a lot of times it looked dirty or it looked unkept. And so to have a clean professional appearance, I cut my hair real short, but I'm not bald and I haven't had any work done on my eyebrows. I've never trimmed them or nothing. Now the barber will do it sometimes, but that's the deal with that. It's funny, and I guess I'm going to talk about this tonight. I'm amazed at how many old truck driver men are concerned about my appearance. You know, I watch YouTube, males and females, but I never think, is that man attractive or is that female attractive? I just listen to what they got to say. And so many people are worried about if I'm bald or if I got eyebrows or if I need dental work or something like that. It has nothing to do with the topic, nothing to do with the video. And I don't get why I don't know if they're attracted to me or they're attracted to certain men and that's why they do it. But yeah, it's some of the questions are really funny to me. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, not just NARC. There's several of them that do voice impersonations, and I'm sure there's some of them that's done me that I hadn't seen yet that are pretty funny. Dennis says, "Hey Todd, hey Dennis, I just gave you a wrench. Thanks for being here, man." Hey Charles, thanks for coming in. It's all right, man. Please watch the replay though. We covered a lot of stuff today. I said at least a half dozen things that are probably going to get me in trouble. But either way, that's why everybody watches. I tell the truth. I keep it real, and he's excited. Frank is excited for Tuesday. Can't wait for the Q&A with Michelle. Yeah, we're going to cover it all. What if you've got your own truck? What about the FX lease? What about the MRP? What about the straight lease? What about truck availability? Things like that. We're going to try to hit it all. You guys can email me your questions and I'll write them down and I'll get them in. And then you can drop them in the comments when we do that video. But I hope that you guys will join me for that. Thanks. Me too. I'm ready for you to start. Hey, did you get your truck today, Dennis? Well, that's what some of us want. There's a certain population that just wants drama and stuff, and that's okay. That's why soap operas exist. Some people just like drama, and some people are generally on here trying to learn something. And so there's something. That's the great thing about YouTube. There's something for everybody. Charles, I'll be honest with you. My week sucked. January in general sucked for me, and so I ran this week. I'm out in California. Tomorrow I'm going back to Houston. And basically the main reason this week sucked is technically cutoff for pay is on Tuesday, but usually if you scan on Wednesday, they'll still get it in. My load delivered Thursday morning. So I ran a buttload of miles this week that aren't going to be on the check. So for the second time, I believe the second time since my time at Swift, I'll be in the hole. And it's same reason both times, the way the trips worked out. But it's okay. It just means next week's check should be really, really good. Charles Thomas is agreeing with me. Yeah, don't have time for looks, just shower and we're good. Yeah, that's what I did. I waited for 2 hours in line to get a shower so that I'd be clean shaven for this video tonight. And I was afraid I was going to start late because I just barely squeaked in. But got through all of that. Yeah, it's trolls, and I understand it. I really do. When you're when you're a new channel, it's a grind. It's a struggle to get viewers. It's a struggle to get subscribers, and even it's still a struggle. And my channel's doing really well, despite what some people would have you believe. Uh, but it's a struggle, and that's why you have to always remind people to like and subscribe and all of that. But you got to do it for the analytics so people watch. And but I understand why they do it. Dennis says, "Be careful." We're going to wrap it up in about 10 minutes. So if you got anything you want to get in, uh, send it pretty quick. I'm going to come out early, Todd. We need to get some my SwiftU stuff done. Great time. Yeah, sometimes it can take a couple of days for them to get that stuff loaded. And I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, the system crashed or something. But they will get it to you before you get to your truck in most cases. As soon as I say that, somebody will say, well, it didn't happen in my case. And it's just, it's not real complicated stuff, but I do recommend getting through it just as quick as you can. Yeah, somebody says that. I don't know anything about that. I can't comment on that. Yeah, we did the insurance update earlier in the show. Basically, um, you need to get your camera now if you're going to go that route with Swift, because they're saying there may be some supply issues on some of the cameras, and so you want to do that as quick as you can. If you're going to get your own insurance, I've got a video. It's titled "How to Get My Exact Insurance," and it'll walk you through the steps. Basically, just Google the number for OIDA and ask for Linda Young and tell her you want what Trucker Todd got. Now, when you make that call, I had this happen with the guy earlier today. You need to look in your contract, and you don't have to be a Swift driver to do this. See what your stipulated loss value is for the truck on the week that you want to start your coverage, and you need to insure the truck for at least that amount. So if you don't have that information, if you don't have your contract, first of all, if you don't have your contract, why don't you have your contract? And secondly, call Rapid Response and they can get you the stipulated loss value of your truck so you can do that. Dennis says, not yet. All right, man, I got my fingers crossed. It's going to be soon. It's bad. I'm waiting all day for a load. Where are you at, Charles? Because the reason I'm asking, I've had several guys tell me that the Southeast is kind of bad right now. And I may be able to help you with that too. Yeah, I talked to Michelle about you yesterday, and it seemed like she said she was still processing your stuff. They've just got, like, for owner operators, they've just got like 2 or 3 processors, and that seems to be where the bottleneck occurs a lot of times. I know those people. The reason I say 2 or 3, I think one of them might have left. We might be back down to 2, but I know those people, not personally, but I've talked to them on the phone numerous times, and I can tell you they're working on it. It'll they call it weird times, like it may be 5 or 6 o'clock at night and you'll get a call, all right, we got it done. But they will get with you, and I'll continue to push on it too. Charles Thomas said his DM said rates are bad. Yeah, but that's not really news. Rates have been bad for about a year now. It's kind of like saying I'm laying in the sun and I'm getting sunburnt. All right, well, at what point do you quit laying in the sun and do something about it? Rates have been bad for a year, and companies have had to adapt and change and do things like that to survive. We can all lay around and say rates are bad, but we've got to start taking steps to survive during these times. Oh no. Uh, Narcs, I'll put you out of service says, all my doors at my house are blocked with snow. Can't get in. I can't even, we don't, to the best of my knowledge, we've never had a snowstorm that bad in Lubbock. I do remember when I sold cars in Amarillo that I'd go to my car lot because I ran a car lot up there. I actually ran two different ones that the winter, sometimes you'd go to the car lot and you couldn't even see the cars because there was so much snow out there. Some folks are going to be always going to be trolls. I like your channel because you are interested in improving yourself and helping others. None of us is perfect, but we ought to keep the bar high. Night. I agree with you, Ron. Have a great night. We're getting close to the end. I'm trying to get everybody thinking about going there in a few months. Keep watching these videos, and I'll tell you how it's going. And join us on Tuesday night when we interview Michelle. There's going to be a lot of good information there. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate that. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that want to see me fall on my face, and I was really nervous when I come to Swift because at the time I had about 3,000 subscribers, and I thought, man, if I fall on my face, 3,000 people are going to see it, and the "see I told you so's" are going to begin. But fortunately, I've done really well. But I appreciate guys like you that are rooting for me. Yeah, for any academy, any truck driving school, first thing would be ask lots of questions. Second thing is try to learn everything you can learn, and just don't put pressure on the truck driving school I went on. The girl was trying to get me driving faster than I felt safe when we were out testing. But just try to soak in everything you can. You're not going to remember half of what you learn in there, and some of it is just real world experience you're going to have to gain. And but you'll get it. Just hang in there. It's going to be frustrating, but you'll get through it. Sorry, I'm not more articulate on that, but we're going to come back to that in future videos. But because for a long time I didn't have a lot of students, and now I do, that watch my channel, and so I really need to address that. But yeah, you're going to be fine. Especially the Swift Academy, they've trained many people, and they're good at what they do. And I hope you'll stay in touch with me and let me know how it goes, so that I can pass that information on to other people. Jerry McClure wants to know if freight's slowed down any. It's been slow depending on what part of the country you're in. I'm still getting my miles, but I have good and bad weeks like everybody else. I just shared earlier, January wasn't great for me, but yeah, it's going to get better. I saw a market analyst thing that said they expected it to hit bottom. I think they said February 11th, and then they expected some rebound. I get a little nervous anytime they put dates on there, but I really think we're almost out of this if we can just hang on a little longer. But yeah, I mean, you've heard it in this video tonight. Some guys are sitting, and some guys like me are running like crazy. So hopefully it'll get better. All right, got NARC back again. Tired of winter already. Got stuck at a drop yard today. Icy mess. Yeah, me too. I got out here, and for the first time in several weeks, I got to wear shorts because it's 67 degrees here. Charles Thomas, can you do a video about your fixed payments and truck insurance? Yeah, I actually did 2 videos about that. It's going to be further back when I first started at Swift. I actually showed my income on there for the first 30 days and showed what my truck payment is and all of that. All of that has changed since then because I went out and got my own insurance, and that's why I don't do those kind of videos no more. But basically, when I was on Swift's insurance, and yours will be cheaper more than likely, my truck payment was $676 a week, and my fixed expenses was $285 with every optional insurance you could get with Swift. So odds are you'll be cheaper. All in, I was at, what is that, about $9.40 something a week or something. I like how you keep your language. I'm always saying things that will ding me. Yeah, I really try to watch that for several reasons. My grandkids watch these videos, and so I want to be a good example. And also, when you get monetized, it affects your monetization if you use a lot of foul language. A lot of advertisers and stuff don't want to advertise on your channel. So I can't control what others say, and I'm sure we're going to have some guests on the Tuesday show from time to time that'll throw out a bad word. So that's why. And I've never been a big cusser. Even now, if I say a cuss word, people really pay attention. They're like, "Oh, Todd must really be upset." Charles says Texas. Yeah, I'm in Texas. I don't know if that really affects anything when you're doing Swift insurance and Swift truck payments. It might affect things when you're doing outside insurance. I honestly don't know about that. Waited all day today about loads. Uh, so you're waiting for a load, I'm guessing, or you're waiting for me to talk about loads. I'd said that it's slow in parts of the country, probably most of the country, and so. Oh yeah, yeah, it may be slow in Texas. I haven't started looking for something out of Houston yet, but I'll probably do that tomorrow afternoon. I'll start looking for a Monday load, or maybe tomorrow morning start looking for a Monday load out of Houston and seeing what freight's like over there. Charles wanted us to know that he's not with Swift yet, but freight's slow in Texas. I appreciate that, Charles. I really do. As a matter of fact, Charles is getting a wrench too. Willie, I know who you are, and if you want a wrench, I'll give you one if you promise to behave. I know you've gone through points where you didn't like me either, but I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. Truck just shut off. Sorry about that. So Willie, here you go, man. Frank says Todd's gonna have to start charging to give out wrenches. I get accused of getting paid for everything else. There's one channel, and I'm not talking about Coach, that they accuse me of getting paid for everything. And I would say, even if that were true, because when somebody says something, I always try to look at it from their perspective. What if they're 100% right? What if everything I talk about on my channel, I'm getting paid for? So what? If I'm telling the truth and I'm helping people, what does it matter what I get paid? Um, it in trucking, we get paid either household movers guide miles, or they call it HHG, or we get practical miles, and it's usually, a percentage off, 3 to 10%. And every single one of us here, if we could get paid for those lost miles, would like to get paid for those miles. So that's I don't get it. There's people that they're allowing their viewers to suffer because they don't want to get my insurance, because they're so afraid that I might be making money off of it, which, by the way, I'm not making a penny on that insurance at OIDA. Not a penny. The only reason I'm saying mention my name is so you can get the insurance I got to be compliant with Swift if you work at Swift. If you don't work at Swift, or you're worried I might get some kickback, don't mention me. Swift's a big company. Call, say, hey, I want some insurance that's compliant with Swift. You can leave me out of it completely. That's fine. I'm just trying to help guys. But people are allowing their viewers to suffer because they're so worried about if I'm getting a kickback or not. And I've told you guys for a while now, I just feel like if I keep doing the right thing, the benefits are going to come to me. So there's people that are purposefully trying to do bad to me. And I didn't want to go into this tonight, but to those people, I still wish them the best. I really do. So, did Willie get his wrench? Yeah, good deal. You're welcome, Riley. Thanks for coming in. I really want you to prove lease purchase different. Well, here's the deal on that, and this is going to go longer than what I told you guys. The problem is that probably 80% of the leases out there are designed for you to fail. Now, can you succeed in a bad lease? Yeah, but you're going to really work hard for it. And the other 20%, and I believe Swift's in the 20, that's good. I really do. There's so many things that can happen. If you do a 4-year lease, how many people stay at any company 4 years anymore? And I mean, you can have personal problems, you can have health problems. A bad truck can run it for you, a lemon truck. So you can be in a great lease purchase and still not make it because, I mean, let's be honest, businesses fail every day. But that doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean you can't succeed. And so just don't let people discourage you. I can't tell you how many people laughed. When I first started my YouTube channel, it was a secret because I knew my family was going to laugh at me. I knew my friends were going to laugh at me. And I did it anyway. And when you do a lease, there's going to be people tell you you're an idiot, that you're just a glorified company driver. But those same people will say, well, why'd you go get your own insurance? Why are you doing your own camera? They want you to toe the company line. And so I'm not saying what's popular. I'm just telling you guys the truth. Now, you got to have realistic goals. I've told you about the guy that called me and said, can I work 3 days a week and take home $3,000? My previous company, their slogan was drive like a boss. Well, some people think a boss never works. A boss should be the hardest working person in the company. If you're a restaurant owner, and we saw one the other day when we was in Lubbock, went to eat at a place called Super Salad, and the owner was up there drying the trays that you put your salad on. He's working right alongside his employees. He went in the back and helped prepare food. And that's a boss. That's an owner. That's what it takes for your business to succeed. And if you think that you're going to succeed by staying home and riding your couch, and I'm not talking about who y'all think I am, or you think you're going to succeed by doing every video from home, that's another group of guys that every video they've done the last 8 weeks has been from home. Then you're going to be disappointed. No business starts off by saying, how often can we be closed? And that's what you're saying when you ask, can I be home every weekend? And so I just want you to think about that. Charles says succeed. I hope so. You're welcome, Willie. What happened with you and Coach? I'm not real sure, to be honest. We did that one video where we had what I thought was a great debate, and he called me or texted me after the show and said he thought it went well. And I told him I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it much longer because it's YouTube is a grind, especially when you're driving a truck full time. And next thing I knew, I wasn't on the show no more. And apparently last night he did a live, and several people asked him about me, and he got kind of upset. So it would appear that Coach is mad at me, and I don't know why. That's something y'all would have to ask him. I don't ever see you with that recruiting stuff. Well, I appreciate that. I get accused of being a recruiter, and I would say, here's what I'd say, and I've said this before, thinking about the Top Gun movie. I love that movie, the new Top Gun that came out. I thought it was great. And so naturally, everybody I saw, I told them, I said, hey, this movie's great. So was I a recruiter for Top Gun? No, Top Gun wasn't paying me, but yeah, I was out saying it's a great movie. My oldest son, saw Avatar with his kids. He said, "Todd, it's a great movie." Well, he didn't call me Todd, but you get what I'm saying. And so, is he a recruiter for Avatar? And so that's all I'm doing here. I'm going, hey, I'm happy at Swift. I like it here. I think you would like it here too. If you're not happy here, I'll be happy to try to help you. And I've been called everything but a human. And so, would I love it if y'all called Michelle and told her you'd been watching Trucker Todd and I got a referral bonus? Absolutely. I said this earlier in this video. But if you come here and you never mention my name, I'm still going to help you. If we run into each other at a terminal and you say, Todd, I didn't put your referral code, but I got a question. Okay. Or Todd, can I call you? I didn't put your referral code, but I got a question. Sure. It's when you do the right thing, this kind of stuff works out. But no, and that's part of why I'm on the outs sometimes with Swift. I'm going to tell you the truth, good or bad. And is there YouTubers that are more in the pocket of Swift and that maybe get better treatment at times? I'm sure there is. But I'm still going to tell you the truth because at the end of the day, I'm going to see you guys at the terminals and I'm going to see you guys at the truck stops. And I got to be comfortable with the information I gave you guys. I'm liking what I'm hearing so far about Swift Lease. The expenses are on the lower side than some of the other places. My fixed are about $1,500 a week where I'm at. I'm really thinking about coming over. So honestly, and we probably need to talk about this. And I'm sorry I'm going so long tonight, folks. Here's the deal. No matter what lease you do, I don't think it's possible to get to $1,500 a week at Swift. I don't think I don't. We'll ask Michelle if you want to. If you want to ask her what's the most expensive lease she's ever heard of. I'm not aware of anything that gets over maybe 1050, 1100 at the most. And so that's, a $400, $500 head start every week, no matter what. Now, there are different leases and the payments are different. Some of my compadres on other channels are really, really pushing the MRP lease. That's what they do. The MRP lease is great, but you got to keep in mind that's an older truck. And every time you watch one of their videos, one of them's broke down. And now they've got a 80-20 split warranty, and warranties are as good as the paper they're written on. If sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. But you just have to keep that in mind. Yes, your payment will be cheaper, but yes, you're probably going to break down more. Straight lease, your payment's going to be higher. Your balloon payment's going to be higher. You're going to have factory warranty, but it could break too. So getting those fixed expenses down is important because if you have a 2 or 3 week breakdown, those fixed expenses eat you alive. Or if you want to go on a vacation with your family, those fixed expenses eat you alive. But no matter what you do, you should be way under the $1,500 a week. I know it's a lot, but you should do a Sunday recap or Monday to keep everyone motivated. So that's kind of what this, in case you missed it, show is. It's kind of a recap show. I've tried to stay off the weekends because my experience is a lot of guys are at home and they don't watch. But I generally try to put out a recorded video on Monday, and sometimes I'm better at it than others. I usually record it over the weekend and set it for a Monday time to come out around 9 a.m. Central Time. But that's another thing. The hardest thing, the thing I stress out about more than anything, more than truck driving, more than anything, is coming up with video content. If you guys have any show ideas, things you want me to talk about, shoot me an email. If I hadn't covered it, or if it's been a while since I covered it, I don't mind circling around and talking about it. And so, yeah, keep that in mind. You never know, especially you students. I know a lot of y'all want me to do a video about what you should be doing in school. And so we may come up with something like that. I did a video about Swift's Top Gun program when I was in Greer. And I did a video showing the MRP trucks and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys could help me enormously if you would just give me show ideas. I think I would not do an MRP. I was actually going to do an MRP. I know it sounds like I was bad mouthing it, but I would actually do an MRP. It's it's a good deal. It's just the truck I went to look at, I wasn't real impressed with, and this truck happened to come available, and I got this. A lot of people think I got it because of the YouTube channel. I didn't. It was pure luck of the draw. This truck could have easily went to somebody else. I don't get as much swag as you guys think I do. But anyway, not complaining. Uh, People made fun of me because I was real impressed with that backpack that they gave us for Christmas. I've got my laptop in it now, and when I get home, my brand new laptop I ordered will be in it. So, but yeah, it's just MRP is great for a guy that wants to own a truck quickly. 3 years, it's yours. But I'd recommend having some money in savings so that you're not bankrupt when it breaks down or if it breaks down. Now, I'm sure there's guys that go all 3 years in the MRP and never have one breakdown, but I'm sure there's guys that have breakdowns. And if I got one of those trucks, I'd expect to break down at some point. Plus, Swift allows you to get outside truck insurance and to use your own fuel card. Yeah, yeah. And here's a big one that a lot of companies don't do. They'll let you go home whenever you want to and stay as long as you want to, just as long as you can pay that truck payment. And you guys know I've taken a lot of time off, but you got to plan. If you're in a straight lease, you can put it in your maintenance account and pay your fixed expenses out of your maintenance account. So yeah, you a lot of these companies, especially those Russian-based companies in Chicago, will tell you, oh, you got to stay out 3 weeks and then you can only go home 2 to 3 days. I don't see how that's legal as an independent contractor, but they're getting away with it and people are doing it. It's got to be something in those guys' contracts. I would like to read one of those contracts. And also with the lease, you should not do dedicated. I don't know. It depends on, again, the devil's in the details. If you could get a deal where you still got your revenue and you could pass through the house or something, one of those guys that I mentioned that has another YouTube channel, him and his wife run Team, and they're not technically dedicated, but they're sort of kind of dedicated, and they they do real good. So I that's I get nervous saying for everybody or always. And so, in a lot of cases, dedicated doesn't work too well because they make you force dispatch and stuff like that. But in some cases, I guess dedicated's okay. I like going around meeting people and seeing different parts of the country. So even after 25 years, there was most of my driving career, I didn't enjoy it. Now I do. And so there may come a point where I say, hey, I want to be closer to the house and I'll work something out with Swift or wherever I'm at the time to where I can be around the house more. But right now, I enjoy going everywhere, but I understand why some guys want dedicated. And if you're going to do dedicated, Swift's a great place to do it because as big as they are, they got something for everybody. I guess Dave Thomas saw my truck. He said, nice truck. Thanks, man. I like it because it's not a traditional color that you see. It's a dark blue, but it looks black. You don't see 1,000 Swift trucks that color. Now, I'm sure there's more than just mine. I guarantee it, but there's probably 50 or 100 of them at least. But it's just nice not being in something that looks like everybody else's. And so many times at companies I was in a white truck like everybody else's white truck. And so, anyway, yeah, I love this truck, and I never thought I'd love a Freightliner. But the guys I see are always broken down. Yeah, I know the people I see that are, let me see how I can say this, visible, the people that are out in the public that we see, they seem to break down a lot. And they say, no, 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 I don't break down a lot. But I'm sure there's guys that go through it and don't have any problems. And so it's just The problem is everybody shows up to get their truck flat broke. You tell them, hey, make sure you've got a few $1,000s saved up, and they show up with $100 in their pocket. And then if something goes wrong, they can't afford a hotel or meals, and then they got to borrow money to get the hotel and meals. And that's the deal there. So just it's a business. Walmart wouldn't have opened their first store in Arkansas with no money in the cash register, because the first guy that walked in and handed them $100 bill, they wouldn't have had change. And same thing, you shouldn't start a trucking business with no money in the cash register. All right, Pueblo, he's another one. Somebody blocked him. Maybe it was for a later comment. He says, if he goes with the MRP lease, will he be able to choose the truck or just the ones they have available? Well, it's going to sound like I'm being smart, but I'm really not. You're going to have to choose from what they have available. There's a truck shortage right now, and they can't special order you exactly what you want. And you're brand new. They don't know if you're going to work there 2 weeks and quit. So your first truck, you're going to have to take something from what's available. Now, you can have some input in that and tell them what you're looking for, but they may or may not have what you're looking for. But yeah, so many guys. I mean, I had a guy that I know that quit on his first load. He abandoned the truck because I don't remember why, but it was something silly. And so they're not going to go out and buy you a $200,000 truck so you could work 2 days and quit or 3 days and quit. Yeah, you're going to have to, and it's going to be that way at any company. You're going to have to work within the confines of what they've got available, or you're going to have to go put a substantial amount of money down and go buy one. I'm saving at least 10 or 12 to go over there. If you get anywhere near that, you're almost guaranteeing yourself success for a whole host of reasons. But I mean, could something still happen? Sure, but your odds of succeeding with $10,000 or $12,000 in the bank go up exponentially. Because, I mean, if you drove it 100 miles and it broke down, and they said it's going to take 3 weeks to get parts, first of all, you could probably talk Swift into trading you into another truck. But even if you couldn't, you could go home and say, all right, call me when it's done. You could have Swift get you a loaner. They have rental vehicles. And so your odds of success go up so much when you do that. And I wish everybody could do it. And I know everybody can't, but anyway, when you do it, Charles, let me know how it goes for you. Stay in touch with me, man. Scott says, what's up, everybody? Not much, man. I've been saying for an hour and a half I was going to wrap it up, but we're getting a lot of good questions tonight, so we've kept it going. Right now, I stay out 4 to 6 weeks at a time. That's really good. I've been doing about 3 or 4 weeks here lately, but that's abnormal for me as well. I think I'm one of these guys. I think you should go home, but I think you should base your home time on your income needs. So here's the deal: when you die, you're not going to be thinking, "Man, I wish I'd have worked a few more days." You're probably going to be thinking about the family you're going to miss and things like that. So get your family time in, enjoy your life. Don't get to the end of the road in life and be going, man, I had all these things that I wanted to do in my life and I didn't get to do them because I was so focused on revenue. And so he wants to know, can you succeed doing that? Absolutely. You can succeed easily doing that. It's the guys that say, I've got to be home every weekend, or I've got to take 2 weeks every month off or something like that. It's the guys with unrealistic expectations and goals that that are suffering right now. Scott says we covered this a little earlier in the video, but we'll circle back around. I realize some people got the notifications late. So it really depends on what part of the country you're in regarding how freight is right now. Let me say this, there's nowhere in the country where it's just bubbling over more freight than you could ever handle in 3 lifetimes. You can stay busy, but you're going to have to claw and scratch for loads a little bit. I'm staying busy. I went from Texas to California. Tomorrow morning, I'm picking up a load going back to Houston. So, um, I mean, some guy, it's hit or miss. You talk to a guy and he'll say, yeah, I'm doing great. And you talk to another guy and he'll say he didn't. But the guys that, and I'm not tooting my own horn here, but the guys that contact me, I can put you in touch with people if you're not getting the miles that you think you should within reason. If you're wanting 5,000 miles a week, I can't help you. But, if you're wanting 23 to 2,800 and you're not getting it, I can probably help you get it most weeks. And they're expecting the bottom to fall out in the next week or so. And then it's supposed to start rebounding. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, say 2 to 4 weeks, things should start getting better. But I think we all know better than to try to put a date on when things are going to get better. Hey, I miss them, but I have to make money for them. Yeah, and hopefully this lease is good enough for you that you can make money and spend it with them, and that's what I'd hope to see. Here is a fellow, I didn't even know he was in here. We're going to give him a wrench if I can find him quickly. This is Roland Espinoza. He is also on the load board, if I'm not mistaken. And he says the first month on MRP, anything wrong with the truck, the company will pay for. Yeah, same thing with the straight lease. The first 30 days, they took care of me. They replaced a refrigerator. They redid my decals. So the first 30 days, they're going to stick with you. But here's the thing that nobody thinks about when they talk about the MRP. Everybody talks about the 80-20 split, which is great. It really is. But they don't talk about the downtime. What hurts you is the downtime, and nobody can control that, Swift or anybody else. When we were having a parts shortage, I had a good amount, the most money I've ever had saved in my life in the bank. And I had 2 breakdowns within a couple of months of each other that lasted 3 weeks long apiece. And by the end of it, I was broke. And to the point I was doing Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and all that to make money while my truck was coming out of the shop. So MRP is great, but you still need to have savings, and you still need to understand that oftentimes it's not the repair that hurts you, it's the downtime. If staying out 4 to 6 weeks, maybe you'll get a load with some extra time that passes through the house. Yeah, it depends where you live. Like where I live in Lubbock, you'll never get one passing through there. But if you lived in Dallas, Oklahoma City, Chicago, places like that, yeah, you could probably get stuff passing through there. And that's what I did at DART when I was on the load boards. I'd get loads and take my 10-hour break at the house, go right back out, or I'd get a load with a little time on it and do a 34 at the house or something like that. No, you're good, Scott. I'm glad you're here. I'm fixing to give you a wrench too. I feel like Oprah tonight. I'm passing these wrenches out. Todd, this is a great live because you take the time to answer. I try because there's other channels that they block any question that's uncomfortable to answer, or they just cherry pick and answer the questions they want to, or when the questions start coming fast, they go, all right, we're ending the live. I'm not going to do that. As long as we're getting good questions, I'm going to stay here with you guys because you guys are spending your time with me. You could be doing other stuff tonight, and you chose to come here with me. So I want to be respectful of your time and try to get to all your questions. And I know if one of you has a question, there's probably 3 or 4 others of you that have that same question. And so it's actually helped me out too, because I'm not on the phone as long now. A lot of people are coming in the lives and asking their questions here. And some of you are looking up at the top and you're going, oh, we've only got 25 viewers right now. But you watch the next 24 hours, how many people will watch this channel? A lot of people are busy, they're working, they're not at home, they're out here working, and when they get parked, they'll watch, or this weekend they'll watch. Um, so I don't base it on how many people are watching live. I stay here as long as we're getting good questions. I try to take care of everybody. Thanks, Chili Dog. I appreciate that. Did I ever give you a wrench? And it's nope. Chili Dog's getting a wrench, and I thought I gave Roland one, but he's got one now. Let's see here. RJ, I don't know who you are, but I'll take a shot on you, RJ. I'll give you a wrench. All right, let's see who else we got here. If your truck is broken down for a couple of weeks, will they work with you on payments? Sometimes, not usually though, and that's why, uh, you know, it's one of those. I'd rather say it that way, because might they? Yeah, it's possible. It's going to depend a lot on the devils in the details. I know they'll do a loaner truck. They charge 6 cents a mile for the rental, which is dirt cheap, and they cover all the maintenance on the rental. But it's not a good business strategy. And there's another YouTuber that I talk to from time to time. He went to a company, and it wasn't Swift, and they told him that if he had any breakdowns, that they would finance repairs up to like $5,000, I think he said. Well, he was like, I don't need to save money for my maintenance, because I'll just borrow the money from him. And I tried to tell him, I said, that's not a business plan. Walmart doesn't open a store and go, well, if this store is not successful, we'll borrow money. You need to, I mean, if my truck broke down and I couldn't afford the payments, I would hope they would help me. And they probably would, because I'm a good worker and a good runner and I take care of the truck. But it's not a business strategy, it's a safety net. So um, that's what I would say about that. And the guys you would talk to, if you're here at Swift and have that problem, you can call me and I can get you in contact with somebody, or you can call Rapid Response and hopefully they can get you fixed up. That's who handles all the lease stuff here. Yeah, and I'm not talking about who you guys think I'm talking about either. There's several channels that if they don't like what you have to say, they block you. And I don't mind a healthy debate as long as we can keep it clean. Yeah, exactly. I had a neighbor where I used to live that every time I came home for home time, he was with a different company. He'd go to these companies and get their sign on bonus or whatever for the first 30 days, and then he'd be out to the next company. And the problem is, over time, the more you switch companies, the less the quality companies want to deal with you. And honestly, there's some guys on YouTube that I wonder how they get hired anywhere. And I mean, a lot of them. There's a lot of YouTubers that every 30 days or 90 days, they're changing companies because it's good content for their YouTube channel. You can make an orientation video. You can make a look at my truck video. You can make a 30-day review video. You can make settlement videos. I mean, it's a lot of content. And if you stay with the same company, you run out of stuff to talk about after a while. Yeah, I understand. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. I hope it I hope it inspires you to come back again. We're going to do Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 Central Time. The Tuesday show, I'm going to usually be interviewing somebody, and we're going to call it Tuesday Trucker Talk. And then the Thursday show is kind of a recap of the past week. We're going to call it In Case You Missed It. And I kind of covered the stuff of this week. I figured we'd talk more about Trucker CFO tonight, but that's not the direction it went. Everybody wants to discuss these other things, and we've done that. I've said several things tonight that's probably going to get me in trouble, and I'm sure I'll be all over YouTube tomorrow, but I'm just going to keep coming back and telling the truth, and everybody's going to have to learn how to accept the truth. Were there any other leases compared to Swift before you picked them? I see a lot of JB Hunt and Schneider lease trucks. So here's, being on YouTube, there's a lot of emails I get all the time because they would like the publicity. They would like me to go to their company and do the publicity. So I find myself looking at a lot of companies all the time. I also find myself hearing from you guys. You guys will say, hey, I work at this company, it's great. Hey, I work at this company, it's terrible. The thing I would say is with JB Hunt and Schneider both, where I live, I'm outside of their hiring area unless I'm willing to do team. Now, Schneider does have a dedicated deal in Lubbock, and twice they've put me on the waiting list for it, and twice I didn't make the cut. They filled up before I got on it. JB Hunt has a final mile deal in Lubbock, but they say you're outside their hiring area, even for lease purchase. The other thing I would caution you about with JB Hunt, from what I understand, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, they like you to get your lease truck from TEL, TEL. TEL requires in their contract that you use ATBS for your taxes. And I'm not a big fan of ATBS, so that makes them an automatic no-go for me, even if I was in their hiring area. Schneider has SFI that you can lease a truck from, and I did a couple of videos about Schneider. A lot of people thought I went to work there. I did not, but their truck payments are, in my opinion, ridiculously high. I could get, if I did MRP trucks, I could get 2, almost 3 MRP trucks for the price of what I could get one SFI truck for. Now, there are some pros to the Schneider SFI trucks, and I realize it's 2 separate companies for you guys, correct me. For one, it's a quicker payout on the truck, but I just, with me being outside the hiring area, really, they're not companies I'd consider. And also, when I ran the 87 load boards, I had the JB Hunt and Schneider load boards access, and there was very few loads for my area, so it really wouldn't be a good fit for where I live. But they might be a great fit for some of you guys, and that's why there's different strokes for different folks. Todd said, yep, I've that. He's heard they lie. No, I don't mind them, and you guys can see by my face I'm really relaxed. But you know, I bite my tongue for a while and bite my tongue, and everybody wants a response, and sometimes you feel like you got to respond, and I'm just in one of those moods tonight where I'm going to respond. So everybody that wanted a comment, they got a comment. Yeah, exactly. There's the example. JB Hunt through SFI, it's 1,100 a week just for the truck. Yeah, and if you get an SFI truck, when I looked at it, I mean thoroughly, they wanted me to put 8,500 down to lease the truck to Dart back in the day, and it just didn't make financial sense. There's too many other places I can get a truck for 5,000 or 6,000 down, and right now I'm looking at purchasing one in Chicago, and I don't even know if I'm going to use it. I'll just bring it back to Texas and have it as a spare, or I might walk away from this one and sign that one on to Swift. I hadn't decided what I'm doing yet, but I'm going to be making some decisions about that in the coming weeks, and we'll have some videos about that as well. Oh, so now they're up to, now he's saying SFI is up to 10,000 down. Will I buy my own trailer? Probably not. It's just another piece of equipment to be responsible for. And I've shared this story. I had a friend at Roadrunner that he had his own trailer. He actually had 2 trailers, And it seemed like everywhere he went to get loaded and unloaded, the forklifts were tearing up his trailer and saying, "Oh, we didn't do that. It was already that way." And I just don't want that headache. It doesn't seem, even you look in the back of some of the trailers you haul with, and I realize baked steaks is not a truck driver yet. The insides of a lot of trailers, no matter what company you're at, they're pretty banged up, because these shippers and receivers don't treat these trailers the way they should. The yard jockeys, if they move them around. So I'm not real excited to own a trailer, but as soon as I say that, I'll end up doing it. It seems like whatever I say I'll never do, I end up doing. So never say never, but it's not something that's on my radar of things I really want to do. So JB Hunt does offer SFI. Yeah, I think with SFI, you can take the truck pretty much anywhere, but you got to pay their down payment. Like I said, to move it to Dart, it was 8,500, and I had very, very good financials for Dart. They said it was the best from Dart they'd ever seen. So uh, I can see the down payment being higher from other people. I've talked with a few drivers, and they are going under. Yeah, yeah, but that's it's you make money with an $1,100 truck payment or a $1,500 truck payment? Absolutely. But the problem is when you break down, or when you want to go on a cruise for 2 weeks or something like that, and the truck payments stack up. That's when it's tough. But yeah, you can make money at that point until something goes wrong. Frank says he leased with SFI in 2020, and the truck for a new one with maintenance account was, I think, 1,200 a week. Yeah, and from what I understand, they've gone up since then. That's correct. I live in Lubbock. Charles says 8,500 to 10K is about what SFI wants. Now, if again, it depends what you're trying to do in life. If you don't see a truck as a tool, and maybe you've always wanted a brand new truck and you've never had one, and maybe your credit's not great, then yeah, this might be the way you do it. But I feel like, me personally, that there's better options right now than SFI. Maybe for you it's the best option. I'm not talking about you, Charles. I'm talking about for prospective SFI people. But that's my thoughts on that. Baked Steaks Exotic says, have you ever thought about pulling doubles? Can you pull doubles while owning your own truck? So funny thing about that, in 96 when I started at Swift, I did pull doubles for a while. Matter of fact, it's the only company I've ever worked for where I did pull doubles. Um, they're not too bad. They turn really good. They can be backed, but not really. And so it's not something I've ever really wanted to do or had an interest in. There's not a lot of companies, unless you go to your FedExes or UPSs, that do pups anymore. But I did do that at one point in truck driving. I worked for Swift for 4.5 years when I first started driving, and I pulled doubles back then. On occasion, I was on what they called the Texas Shuttle back then, which now they call it Swift Express. And I started off OTR for the first year, and then I went into that after that. And so that's a little bit on doubles. I'm a company driver and trying to get off the road, but I tend to watch a ton of drivers that are leasing or owner operator. I'd personally never lease, but I think it's interesting hearing from you guys that do. Well, thank you. I would say that there's for most people, this always gets me in trouble when I say this, most people should not do a lease. But if you have a business mind and you're real goal oriented, you can be successful at it, and you can make more than a company driver, but it's definitely not for everybody. And there's definitely people doing it that shouldn't be doing it. So here's a good question, and I got in trouble last time I answered this question. How does a walk-away lease work, the process? So technically, Swift does not want me to call it a walk-away lease because in their mind, a walk-away lease means you just hand the keys and say, here, I'm done, no kickback of any kind. Here's how the lease works, and if you want to turn the truck in. First of all, before you turn the truck in, you should call me. Let me try to help you. The first question I'm going to ask you is who have you talked to about it? Because 9 times out of 10, nobody even knows you're upset. So, first thing, before you quit here or anywhere, because I know people at other companies too, call me and say, hey, Todd, I'm thinking about quitting my company. Here's what's going on. And here's who I've talked to. But if you've reached the end of the road here at Swift and you want to walk away, the way to do it is to coordinate with the company and find out where they want you to take the truck. Clean that truck and turn it in. They are then going to turn in your fuel card, your permit book, everything. And they're going to do an evaluation on the truck. And somebody's calling me. I guess they're not watching my video. They're going to do an evaluation on the truck. And out of your maintenance account, out of your escrow, they're going to take back any fees they have to do to recoup that truck and get it in the condition it was in. And they'll probably do about 2 weeks worth of truck payments. And so it can be until that. So just know that it takes about 45 days to get back any refunds you might have. If it comes out you owe them money, say you worked here 2 weeks and quit, the way that'll work, they're not going to send it to a collection agency. They're not going to sue you. I mean, unless you vandalize it or something. They're just going to keep a little ledger. And if you ever want to come back to work here, they're going to put you on a payment plan to pay that back. So in my mind, I call it a walkaway lease because it's not like SFI where they're going to sue you or they're going to put it on your credit or something like that. But in their mind, they don't want it a walkaway lease because they will charge you if it needs an oil change, if you've got a bad tire, if you did body damage, things like that. And so I hope I cleared that up. I'm an eternal optimist. He wants to know what I think about the summer months with freight. I believe most of February is going to be tough, and then we're going to see a gradual increase in freight, and things are going to get better. But I'm an optimist, and I'm a survival of the fittest. I'm going to find a way to survive no matter what happens, and I'm going to drag as many people as I can with me. And are we going to have a tough week sometimes? Absolutely. But we're going to get through it together by sharing information. Just like we were doing earlier, the guy said, hey, I'm here, the freight's kind of slow. And I said, well, I'm out here, this is what I'm doing. That information is going to help all of us do better. None of us have all the answers, but if we work together, we can have most of the answers. Do you think when you take your truck to the shop for repairs, mechanics lie and say the truck needs extra parts or they break parts so you can waste money buying them again? So I worked for a while as a service advisor for about 2 years, and my son's a diesel mechanic, and so I've got some shop experience. And what I would say is most shops are really, really honest. However, you guys know that have seen my Dart video, I experienced the other too. So it's like police officers. There's good and bad cops. There's good and bad mechanics. For the most part, most of the cops are good. Most of the mechanics are good. But occasionally you're going to get a bad apple. And so that's what I would say about that. But definitely at Dart, and I feel comfortable saying it, I think my video proved it, that I caught them at times manufacturing repairs and padding tickets and charging me for things they didn't do and things like that. So just learn a little bit about mechanics. You know, when your truck's in the shop, watch a YouTube video about the repair so you know a little bit. And then when they come out and say, oh, yeah, you need this, 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 and this, you've got a little bit of knowledge. Now, what you learned on YouTube may be wrong, but at least you know the terminology and you can talk to them and they think, hey, I better not screw this guy. He might know what he's talking about. Charles says, everybody, please share this live, please. Yeah, and that would help me immensely. And give it a thumbs up. Every time you give it a thumbs up, it tells YouTube, they call it an interaction. And if you give it a thumbs up, or if you comment, even if you just come in and say hello, it's an interaction and it helps me with YouTube, and I thoroughly appreciate it. The subscribers, that unlocks more perks with YouTube. So, like for example, we get to 5,000 subscribers, which we're probably about 6 weeks away from that. When we get to 5,000 subscribers, more perks will be unlocked by YouTube. When we get to 10,000, more perks will be unlocked. So I can offer you guys more things. I can do more things for y'all the bigger the channel gets. And another thing it does, and this is the best part, is all those naysayers and negative people that say I'm stupid or don't know what I'm talking about, we just put them to shame. So you guys help me get there, and we'll all benefit from it, I promise you. Hey, Bankruptcy Coach. Oh, that's a funny title. Okay, nobody can hear me? Is it back on? Okay, somebody said it's good now. What's happening is I'm getting calls that people should know I'm on a live right now and I can't answer. But what happens is people watch my videos until I get them to a certain level of success, and then they quit watching, and they're like, I'll just call you and get the answers directly. And it really, it takes away from time I could be helping other people. Now, I love hearing from everybody, and on a slow day, I'll talk to any of you, but sometimes they need to be mindful that I'm doing a live or something, and just coming here. That would help me, and I could still help them. And that's why when I get off this live, I'll probably be on the phone 2 or 3 hours returning phone calls. And family's just as guilty of it as well. Tell us about Coach. Is he a good source of information about Swift? Here's what I'll say about that. I don't think I need to be judging other YouTubers. If you guys watch his channel, you can formulate your own opinion if he's a good source for information or not. I obviously, just like every YouTuber, I think I'm the best source of information. Trucker's Coach thinks he's the best source of information, but that's what you guys decide, and that's why I appreciate everybody being here. The people that come back and take shoot, we're at the almost 3 hour mark. The guys that take 3 hours to sit here with me, they're telling me they think I'm a good source of information. And I'm sure there's people that think Coach is a good source of information. So I'll let you guys decide who's a good source, who's a bad source, things like that. Fran Mariah, this is going to shock you, but I'm going to give you a wrench. I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about Fran Mariah. She used to comment on some of my recorded videos, and I don't think she's a huge fan of mine, but she's a good person, and she put up that, yes, they will help you with repairs. Again, I'm not comfortable saying that, even though I know they probably will, because I don't want that to be people's business strategy. And then something happens and Swift says, no, we're not going to loan you money. But I would think that they want you to succeed, and they're probably going to do what they can to help when they can, because they have a lot of really good people there, and I mean that. And again, some of them there don't like me. That's okay. I still like them. Bankruptcy Coach, no drama. We try. Not doing drama, just asking for information. Heard a few different things. Yeah, there's been there's been a lot to that, and it's probably best I don't comment. I would just say, He typically does a Wednesday show at 7 p.m. Central. And if you're curious about his channel, watch him a couple of times and see what you think. And you'll be able to get a good opinion. What kind of truck is my most favorite in terms of looks and how it functions? Definitely Peterbilt. Of new trucks, probably a 389. I had a Peterbilt 379 back in the mid 2000s, and I love that truck. Now it took 20 miles to make a U-turn, and sometimes it was difficult to drive it through tight truck stop parking lots. But it was just a beautiful truck. It was comfortable. It was well insulated, and all of that stuff. Charles thinks I'm a good source of information. I appreciate that, man. I try to be polite, but I'm not always. That's what. If y'all don't get nothing out of this video tonight, but this, I want you to understand I'm human. There's times I overreact. There's times I lose my temper. I'm not perfect. I put on my clothes just like you do. I make mistakes just like you do. I hope that I learn from mistakes. I told my OOC when I started, I said, I don't mess up very often, but when I mess up, it's bad. And I said, you don't have to worry about catching me. I'll call you when I mess up. I'll tell you what I did. Because, instead of backing into a trailer and driving off, you're going to get in a lot less trouble if you just call them and say, hey, I bumped a trailer, or hey, I hit a curb with a tire. So it's better to just come clean, tell the truth, uh, take your licks like a man, and move on down the road. So, yeah, I've been all over South Texas, pretty much everywhere you can think of down there. I've been to Laredo more times than I can count, Brownwood, all down there. So after 25 years, they all kind of look the same after a while. You forget the places you've been because you've just been everywhere. I try. I try. It gets me in trouble more than it helps me, trust me. That'd be a good question for Michelle if they'll help with repairs or anything. Yeah, I'll pitch it to her. Again, she'll give you her opinion, but she's not the decision maker on that. She's a lead recruiter. It's going to be IEL, which they call that's interstate equipment leasing. It's handled through a department called Rapid Response, and that's going to be a decision they're going to make in a case by case basis. I'd say generally they'll help you, but I mean, let's face it, there's some guys that are out here on the road that none of us would help. It's going to depend how you run, how you take care of the truck, things like that. So um, just keep that in mind and don't make it your business strategy. Put as much as you can into maintenance and be prepared for those rainy days when they come, and you're going to be better off in the long run. The guy that said he's going to start with 10 to 12,000 in the bank, I can almost guarantee him he's going to succeed because he's got some rainy day money if something hits. And if he does have that big breakdown, say on day 31 or day 32, he blows an engine, and for whatever reason MRP doesn't cover it. Swift's going to want to work with him because they're going to say, hey, he's ran hard for 30 days. He's got some skin in the game. He's willing to chip in some money. Just don't make your safety net that somebody else is going to bail you out, is all I'm trying to say. Exactly. Roland's got a great point. Their goal is to keep as many owner operators in the fleet as they can, the most experienced drivers, because their goals are bigger. Exactly. I recently saw a deal. Swift has the most million-mile drivers of any company. So people are staying here, and they're not staying here because Swift screwed them over in a lease. They're staying here because Swift has a lot of good people that want to take care of you. But it's a two-way street. You got to take care of them too, and things are going to go good for you. This is a small live, but everyone is polite and trying to learn, and we learn something every day. Doesn't matter your experience. Yeah, it's not as small as what it seems right now. That's what I say. By this time tomorrow, we'll probably be somewhere around 500 views. A lot of the people that are subscribers of mine watch my videos over the weekend, and I mean like binge watch them, or they watch the next day, or not watch, they listen the next day while they're going down the road and things like that. So um, my guys are working guys. They're not always able to make the live, and several of even my moderators, they'll forget about one and miss it, and they'll call me later and go, "Oh, I'm watching it right now." So don't let it discourage you, but this is the vibe we want. We want to help each other. We want to share knowledge. And I'll just tell you guys, I'm super excited. Roland's here. I see him in the video conference call we do every week, and he's a smart guy with a lot of good information. And I didn't even know he knew about my channel, but I'm really excited to see him here. They make the most with experienced drivers. Exactly. And a lot of people think that in a lease purchase, they want to turn the truck over. And what I mean by that is they want Roland to lease it for 2 or 3 months, and then Todd to lease it for 2 or 3 months, and then Charles to lease it for 2 or 3 months. And they don't want that. It costs between $7,000 and $10,000 to bring on a new hire. And there's a learning curve that takes place. They'd rather have Roland out here making the big miles and the big bucks every week than they had a brand new Todd getting in a truck, and it takes him a couple of weeks to figure everything out and things like that. So they want you to stay here, and they want you to succeed. And I'll go ahead and say it, they want you to not only pay your truck off, they want you to get several trucks from them. You can meet people at the terminal, especially in Phoenix, all day long that I've paid off 3 trucks with them. I've paid off 4 trucks with them. There's something, I mean, I realize there's a segment out there that hates Swift. There's something Swift's doing right that makes people want to stay here. And I know what it is, and Roland knows what it is, and some of you that are here know what it is. But if you don't know what it is, I'm just telling you, there's some good people here. And so I'm going to leave it at that for now. Do all the trucks have inverters? If so, are they pure sine? So again, I get nervous saying all. Every truck I've seen had an inverter in it, and the inverter in my truck is not pure sine. It's, I want to say, I believe it's a 2,000 watt inverter. It might be 1,800, but I believe it's a 2,000 watt inverter. It easily powers my microwave. It easily powers my TV, my Xbox, my laptops. I've never overloaded it, even having all those things on at the same time. So it's decent. Now, I know some of you guys want to go crazy with the inverters, 4,000 watt and all of that. And from what I'm told in these new trucks, that's not a great idea because the computers and the sensors and everything take a lot of electricity as well. So it will power pretty much anything you want to do. It'll power my George Foreman grill. And so that's what I would say about the inverters. Oh boy, that is a good question. Maybe Bonehead Truckers. Maybe, I don't know. There's several really big names. There's a girl in Sweden, a blonde-headed girl in Sweden, that she's got a ton of subscribers. She might be the biggest. It probably depends on if you're just talking in the United States or around the world. There's a lot of big YouTubers. I never had preconceived notions of being the biggest YouTuber or anything like that. That may happen one day, probably won't. I would like to be the biggest Swift YouTuber. I was for a while. Jason's channel's bigger than mine. He posted his analytics the other day. My subscriber growth is about 30 times more than his, and my revenue is a little over 3 times his. So My channel, in my opinion, is more successful, but I'm not down in his channel or his following. He's got a good thing going over there, and again, there's no conflict there. I wish him the best, but subscriber wise, I'm nowhere near the top. There used to be a guy, and I can't remember his name, that did YouTube videos for Swift, and he's one of those. I believe he got in trouble for video and while he was driving. He had like 9,000 subscribers. His channel's bigger than mine, and I don't know about on the company side. There may be some company drivers that have bigger channels than me. It again, I just go back to saying what I was saying. If you just do the right thing, like we're doing right now, sharing information, talking, trying to answer everybody's questions, good things are going to happen to you. And I had a guy this week that called me, and he said, "Hey, Todd, uh, I'm thinking about starting my own YouTube channel. What do you think?" And I said, "Well, uh, whatever you do, if you don't listen to anything else I say, just be honest. Every video, be honest." And I said, "I don't watch a lot of other YouTubers because I want my content to be authentic. I don't want to copy what somebody else is saying. Even though I'm friends with a lot of other YouTubers, I don't watch everything, or if I do watch what they do, I make sure I don't do a video on that subject because, or I try not to, because I want to be authentic, and I want the opinions you hear to be mine and what I truly feel, not what somebody else told me to say or inspired me to say or something like that." You've been solid. You the only Swift owner operator. Oh, really? You don't watch the other guys anymore? I don't want to say their name on here, but the two that hate my guts now. And we're not talking about Coach. Anyway, Fran, I'm glad you're here. I really thought you hated my guts, but I'm glad you're here, and I think I gave you a wrench. If I didn't, I'm going to. Yeah, I did. Good deal. Good deal. No, somebody asked that Tuesday night too. I use the same tires. It's just uh, you'd have to do that. You'd have to go home. You'd have to pull your 8 tires out of storage. You'd have to pay somebody to put them on and balance them. Then when you got to the summer months, you'd have to go back to your hometown, pull your other ones out of storage, swap them out. It's just cost benefit. You're not in bad weather every single day, so try to find a good all season tire with a low rolling resistance that you can use year round would be my advice on that. Heard there was a few 4 million mile drivers there at Swift on. Yeah, they mentioned that in their last live that they did, that they've got some 4 million milers. And it's funny, I should be a 1 million miler at Swift. Well, no, let me take that back. No, not quite yet. Um, I should be coming up on it. I should be somewhere around 800,000 because that dedicated deal I was on, I was doing 140,000 miles a year times 4.5, and then the miles I've ran now. But for some reason, I guess because of how long ago it was, they're not counting all my miles, so I'm nowhere near being a 1 million miler here. I love It's Like This. Well, thanks. It this is what you get when you really appreciate your audience. Like I said, you guys know 2 hours ago I was talking about wrapping this up. But as long as you guys are doing what you're doing right now, we'll keep it going, and I'll stay here and try to get all your questions. I've heard of we're going to make West Coast Trucker a moderator too. I've heard about rock bands that'll play small venues and they'll stay there, and comedians, and they'll sign every autograph in the room and things like that. And I want to be like that. If somebody's got a question, it's not their fault. It takes me a while to get to it. And if they're willing to stay here and wait for my response, or we've got guys that have been in here that's been contributing, answering questions, as long as we've got that positive vibe going, I want to stay here and get to everybody. Okay, why do these larger carriers want deposits on these leases that are getting larger and are non-refundable? Yeah, I would agree. What I'd say about that is it's probably, and I'm going to have to speak on behalf of other carriers. I hadn't been in their board meetings when they made these decisions. Probably a couple of things, and you guys can all attest to this, the way drivers are taking care of trucks right now, both maintenance and interiors. Guys are living like pigs. They're getting their pets in here and letting them do whatever, wherever. And then they 2 weeks later go, I don't want to work here, and quit. And the companies are having to refurbish the trucks. And so I know Swift, or not Swift, Dart had like a huge pet deposit, and it like 2,500 per pet. And I don't know if it still is or not. You'd have to contact them. And you would, it was non-refundable even if you paid the truck off. So I get the deposit, but if I pay the truck off, you're not out anything. Give me my deposit back. And that's what I would have liked to have seen them done, is say, yeah, we're going to take 2,500 from you. We're going to call it an escrow. And when you pay the truck off, we'll give it back to you in your balloon payment or something. But they never returned it. And so one thing, and I've said this in videos too, if Swift called me tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and said, Todd, we want you to bring the truck to Phoenix. We're going to fire you when we get to Phoenix, I'd say, okay. I would clean the truck out. I'd return it in the best possible condition I could. I'd rent a car and I'd go back to Texas. And that's the way it should be. Some of these guys will sell fuel. They'll key scratch the truck. They'll cut up the mattress. I saw a truck that a guy took a knife and stabbed the seats and did slit marks down the seat. Wasn't at Swift, it was at another company. And there's just no sense in that. Same thing, if you quit, don't vandalize the truck. Don't abandon it somewhere. One guy I saw, he abandoned a truck. He took all the wheels and tires off of it and sold it, and the truck was out there on blocks. Don't do that. They're going to bill you for it. They're probably going to sue you for it. Just take it back to them. It's like breaking up with a girl or breaking up with a guy. The relationship's over. Move on. But these guys don't do it, and we all pay the price for it in the form of deposits or higher truck payments, because the company doesn't just eat those expenses. They're going to pass them on. In some way or another, you're going to pay for it. So just do the right thing, people. That's I feel like I say that a lot, but it's something that's worth saying. Well, I appreciate the sentiment. I hope I didn't sell you. I hope that you're coming because you believe it'll be a good decision for you and your family. But I appreciate it either way. Are the long hood Kenworths and Peterbilt's more powerful than? No, they're it's just like an automobile. You choose your drivetrain when you're ordering the truck, and so now the advantage of a long hood is the longer the wheelbase is, typically the smoother the ride is, but it's going to be harder to back as well. So there's trade-offs. There's good and bad. That's why a lot of these training companies get short-nosed trucks. That's why cab overs used to be popular, because they're easier to back. That's why the owner-operators usually get the long hoods, because it's a smoother ride. Can you change it to pure sign if you like? Well, it depends on your lease. And the reason is, if you're in an MRP lease, Swift's on the hook with you. So if you wanted to do that, you would want to work with a shop, one of the Swift shops, and take them the pure sign and let them install it. If you're in a straight lease, you can do it, because if you violate your warranty, you're going to pay for it. So if that's something that is really important to you, work with Michelle when you get ready to get your truck, and let her make you an appointment with the shop or something when you're picking up the truck, where they can swap it out to the one you want. You should also look at subscriber to view ratio. Yeah, that really is going to vary. I know what it is for me, but it really depends on subject matter. I've got videos with 40-something thousand views because it was a subject that related to a lot of people, and I've got videos with 200 views. because it wasn't relevant to a lot of people. Everybody tells me they want me to do safety videos, but then when I do safety videos, nobody watches them. So it to me, subscribers means the most. It's because that's guys that are willing to put up with getting a notification every time I put something out. But I do look at it kind of casually, but it's not as big a focus to me as it might be to some other guys. How much can you make as a lease operator after expenses? Uh, so I would say to that, as much as you want. How hard are you willing to work, and how well are you willing to manage your fuel and manage your business? Most of the guys that I regularly talk to are making between 2 and 3 thousand a week take home. Now, saying that, I know guys that are making 600 a week. I know guys that are making 32, 3,300 a week. And you got to remember it's over the road trucking, so it's not going to be the same every week. And everybody's going to have good weeks and bad weeks. For the most part, I average just off driving, nothing else, 23, 2,500 a week most weeks. I've shared that January was terrible for me and that this week I was in the hole because of the time that a load delivered. I should get an enormous check next week. So that's why I really recommend having a lot of savings and stuff when you get started. He has over 30,000 subscribers and doesn't get 1,000 views. Yeah, well, I have most of mine get 500-600 views when it's all said and done. Uh, so that'd be what, about 10% of 5,000. But it depends how long you look. If I look a year from now, and that's what's hard. Some of you guys will comment on a video I did 3 years ago and ask me a real specific question, and I don't remember. And so I'll have to go back and watch the video so I can answer your question. And so YouTube is perpetual, and that what I mean by that is when I put a video out, I never know how many years from now somebody's going to watch it. And so I know what the views are. Usually I'll check for a week or two and then I move on. I got other stuff going on. I'm driving a truck. But to me, I just believe those things are going to work themselves out. And I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. I, I have a full day. Usually when I wake up, I spend about 2 hours on the phone with people that are waiting to talk to me. And I just spend my time doing that. And I know they're going to reward me by telling their friends, hey, watch Trucker Todd. He really helped me. And that's where all my subscribers come from. So many people on YouTube feel like that they've got to lie to you or trick you to get you to watch their channel or put clickbait titles. Get a clickbait title so you'll click on their video and watch it. And that's just not my strategy. This is working great for me. If this channel for the next year continued to grow and do like it does right now, I'd be perfectly content with that. Or if you guys decided to blow it up and make it even bigger, I'd be okay with that too. Um, Several of you want t-shirts and coffee mugs and things like that. And I can tell you it's coming. It will happen in 2023. So if you're one of those guys that's asking me about t-shirts and coffee mugs, just hang in there. It's coming. But we've got to get the channel big enough that a company will want to invest the revenue to make that stuff and hold it in inventory and things like that. He went live last week after you because it was also good. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. And he actually went live while I was on the air, and I was really surprised by it. And so many of these guys think it's a competition, and it's really not. There's a universe where we could both be on YouTube together, and our channels could complement each other. But it's just up to them. Even tonight while I'm live, I know there's other people live, and that's fine. I don't expect everybody to drop everything and watch my channel. They're putting out some stuff, and some people like it, and some people are going to watch them religiously every week, and the same for my channel. And since it's on a rebroadcast, they can always watch me later, and I'm okay with that. I haven't got to watch it yet. Somebody said he was desperate. Several people said that my name came up in the comments a lot and that he blocked everybody and was upset about that. And, you know, the one thing you learn is that you can only control what you do and what you say. I can't control what others do and what others say. And I'll tell you this, I was confused. It was my understanding that on the 30th that he was going on a cruise. And it's my understanding now that he's not going on the cruise next week and that his truck is broke down. So I don't know, but he's at home again. And the last time he was broke down, he was at home. So he's really good at, and this is not a criticism. It sounds like a sarcastic remark. He's really good at breaking down at home. I do the same thing. My transmission on that Kenworth at Dart, I knew it was going out, but I limped it to Lubbock so that I could spend 3 weeks at the house during that breakdown and not 3 weeks in a hotel or not have to rent a car and get home. But he does good at getting back home for his repairs. And that, I know you guys are going to twist that into something negative, but I really don't mean that negative. From Pampa. Well, I'm glad you're here, man. I lived in Amarillo for 3 years back in the, oh gosh, early 90s. So I like it up there, but man, the winters are rough. Fran gave me a thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you actually enjoy your job or do you just do it because you really don't have a choice? That's actually a funny question. Uh, I don't know why you would think I don't have a choice. We all have a choice. Living in the United States, we can all choose to do anything any day. Uh, a lot of you don't know this, but for a long time, I was a very successful car salesman. I was even manager of a car lot for a while. I did F&I also, finance and insurance. Um, I could, I have many options. I drive a truck because I choose to. Um, I'm not sure which one of my videos gave you the impression I don't have a choice or I don't have any options, but I could definitely do something else if I chose to. I drove a truck because I like traveling. I like getting out. I don't like office politics. And this is the opportunity I have to help the most people. I have to drink some water. I'm talking a lot tonight. All right. Blue Simmons is going to bed. All right. Have a great night. Thanks for coming in. Surely we're wrapping up soon. We're getting near the 4 hour mark. None of my people that watch it later are going to watch 4 hours. If they do, they deserve to come on this show. Yeah, yeah. They used to call it pride in your ride. A clean truck says a lot about the driver, not the company. Yeah. I They know a lot about a lot. If we're talking about the same two guys, I think we are. Uh, they know a lot about a lot, especially Okay, I think we're back. We're going to be very limited now. My other phone just completely went kaput on me. Hopefully everybody's still here. Let me know if anybody's still here or anybody could still hear me. Do we still have anybody? Okay, good. I'm sorry about that. If you're still here, you're a real trooper. Let's get our ticker back up there. I'm on a much smaller phone now. I just realized my ticker still says Tuesday Trucker Talk. Nobody else noticed it. All the other information there is still correct. I took my hat off. I was sweating. So those that don't know, I've got a lot of issues going on. My laptop bit the dust this week, and I use a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 when I'm not using the laptop. That phone, the battery completely went dead. I guess it was going dead quicker than my phone cord was charging it because we did such a long video. It's usually fine for a short video or hour or two, but because of how long we gone, it just couldn't take it. So that phone's in the back on the fast charger. And I'm going to try my best to still answer your questions and get through this. And I apologize for that, and I appreciate everybody sticking around. I bet they can't get a job anywhere. Yes, do not abandon or vandalize trucks. They cost a lot of money. So that's what I was talking about when the other video cut out. And this in May, I better plug this one in too. That's what I was saying in the other video is, or this one before it cut out. They have a lot of great information, especially about markets, things like that. But my hat looks crooked now with this camera. But they're so in the pocket of certain entities and certain companies that they come across as biased. I think sometimes wow, we still got 20 people here. Now that right there tells you what kind of an audience I got. I can disappear for 10 minutes because my camera craps out and my audience sticks around. I've got, 18, 20 of you still here. That right there is just freaking awesome. Thank you. And the others would probably still be here, but they thought that the video ended. Yeah, Craig, you guys. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give any more wrenches tonight because I don't have my second phone. But next time we do a video, if you guys are here and you didn't get a wrench, you'll get one then. I'm sorry. I'm definitely using a lower quality phone now. We're going to have to probably cut this back here pretty quick just because, of course, we're down to, some people are starting to come back now. Maybe we won't. Hopefully the audio would get better. I don't have my headset connected to this phone. So this is kind of an emergency situation. It's like using the third string quarterback in football. I've got, let me move my light and I can at least make the video look better. It's like using a third string quarterback in football. My laptop's down. My number one phone's down. Now I'm down to the next phone, and hopefully we can get through this. Mayor's still here. Yeah, you were silent for a while. I was wondering if you were still here. I have a 14-foot python. Can I bring it with me on the truck? Because people have dogs. It depends on the company. Some companies will let you bring a snake, some won't. I know a lot of mechanics will refuse to work on your truck, though, if you have a snake in the truck. Also, I'm not sure how you would do that in the way of you would need an aquarium, you'd need heat lights, and I'm not sure how you would do that to take care of the snake, but definitely mention that to the recruiters when you talk to them and when that time comes. We hang around for the good content. Well, what time does it get here? No, I'm joking. I really appreciate you guys. The content's only good when y'all are here. Y'all are the ones that ask the questions and oftentimes answer the questions. Y'all are what makes the content good. I just sit here, read the comments. I throw my 2 cents in worth, but you guys are what makes it good. So this truck's 455 horsepower, if I remember correctly. Okay, have a great night, Eric. He says the video's cutting in and out. Are you guys having trouble hearing me? I'm trying to establish if it's something on my end or if it's something on his end. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm not sure what I can do about it at this point. I can try. This is another good question. Am I disappointed in the Dallas Cowboys? I'm definitely disappointed. I'm a big Dak Prescott fan, and I wanted him to do well. And I can't defend him. He didn't play well that game. He had a bad game. But I'm a big fan of Dak Prescott. He's a good dude. And so, we had a great team certain times of the year, but it wasn't consistent. And but Patrick Mahomes also played for Texas Tech. Played for Texas Tech in Lubbock. So I'm a big Patrick Mahomes fan. And so now I'll be rooting for Kansas City. Okay, Pablo and West Coast said that they can hear me well. Fran said she can hear me well. Sam said loud and clear. Maybe it was his audio. Matter of fact, part of what took me so long, I've got a Google Pixel somewhere in this truck, and I was looking for it because I was going to use that phone instead of this one. But this one will work for tonight. This is a phone I'm kind of testing for a new cell phone service. Oh, by the way, let's get to that real quick. Eric said that he logged out and back in, and now it's good. Yeah, everybody else is saying it's good. This phone here is a Motorola 5G Stylus, the 2022 model, and it's kind of my just fool around phone. Sometimes my one phone gets so busy I need a spare. It's on a new service that is a postpaid service called Boost Infinite. It's the postpaid side of Boost Mobile, so it's a little different. Right now it runs on the AT&T network, but they're going to have it to where it will run off of AT&T, T-Mobile, and the towers they're building for Dish Network. So it's super cheap, and that's why I have it to test it. It's $25 a month, and it has 30 gigs of data and 5 gigs of hotspot. It's not nearly enough for what I do, and so that's why I just have it as a spare and for rough situations like that. But I'll let you guys know in the future how it's doing. Yeah, I like Cash is King. He's been popping in and out a lot lately, and I've told him here on the show that I'd like to have him on one night. We'll see if he wants to do it. Now, he's a big YouTuber. I think he's got around 34,000 subscribers, and we could pick his brain about how the spot market is now. When I was on it, I know how it was, but things may have changed since I was on the spot market, and I'd love to get him on and talk to him about it. Yeah, he is. I agree completely. He does put out good content. Just due to the constraints of time, I don't get to watch everything he puts out, but I do enjoy his content when I get time to watch it. And if you guys hadn't seen him, check him out. He does do a good show. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Well, he's been around. I think Prescott's in what, his 6th or 7th season now. It seems like he's new because it seems like only yesterday Romo was quarterback, but he's been around several seasons. And um, the questions come up a lot. Can he win a Super Bowl? And shoot, anybody can win a Super Bowl if they have the right team. And we had a great defense this year, and we had a pretty good offense. We obviously there was some times that receivers dropped passes that maybe they shouldn't have, but every team experiences that. We had some injuries, but every team experiences that. It's just when the big game come, he had a bad day, and it could have happened to anybody. But I'm still a big Dak fan. I'm not one of these bandwagon people, and I'm not one of these guys that's going to come on here and go, oh, well, I never liked the Cowboys. I do like the Cowboys. I've never been to a game, always wanted to go. And so that may be something I do at some point. But he just had a bad game, and everybody's going to beat up on him. And, there's going to be some changes within the team because of it. But I don't think his best days are behind him for sure. So, what do I think about Trucker Gal? I think she's a little obnoxious. I watched her video recently. It was actually pretty good about she was driving in winter weather. I've seen some of her diet and exercise videos. I don't know her personally. I've never had a conversation with her. But on her video she did recently when she was winter driving, she was on her way to Lubbock. And I mentioned to her that she was worried about the roads on the way to Lubbock. And I mentioned to her that my wife had said that the roads were fine right now. And so I had sent her a comment in one of her videos about, hey, why don't you come on my Tuesday show and talk about diet and exercise? And she never responded back. Of course, her channel is huge. She's got 20-something thousand subscribers. It's very possible she didn't see my comment. I don't have her contact information as far as email and stuff to email her directly. And but she's one of those that I'd like to get her on the show and ask her some questions, because that's something that normally I wouldn't be interested in, but I am trying to lose weight, trying to get healthier, trying to cook more on the truck. So I wouldn't mind hearing what she has to say. And who knows, some of you that follow her regularly, talk to her and see if you can get her to reach out to me about coming on the show. Give her my email. Is Viking Trucker also at Swift? To the best of my knowledge, he is not, if we're talking about the same one. So I'm not aware of him being at Swift. To be honest with you, though, I don't know where he's at right now. Yeah. The kicker at Dallas, so many people will want to jump on Dak because he throws a pass and it gets tipped and intercepted, or the receiver doesn't catch it and it gets intercepted. The receiver will bobble it or something. But they don't seem to have a problem with the kicker missing 5 kicks in a row. And I realized we'd have probably still lost that game, even if the kicker had made every one of them. But it's just, if you want to focus on something, that's a good place to focus. And here's the deal on that too. These, I don't know. It's the better team won that day. That's, the refs, we can blame the refs, we can blame the kicker, we can blame blame Dak. But on that particular day, at that particular time, the Cowboys wasn't the better team on the field. Now, on another day, the Cowboys might have been better, but it just, nobody was in sync. Nobody was playing with the kind of heart and devotion that you'd hope to see. I say that the defense was awesome. Special teams was good, but just the offense didn't have their head in it for whatever reason. And I don't know if you blame the coach or you blame the players, or who you blame or if it even matters at this point. But that's if I was Jerry Jones, I'd be ticked because he spent a lot of money getting players, and he didn't get a very good product out of those players. Who do you have for the game? Without a doubt, Kansas City Chiefs. I'll never bet against Patrick Mahomes. I'm not even sure he's human. He can do incredible things. He's definitely, I don't even think it's arguable anymore. A lot of guys a lot of you Tom Brady fanboys would have said he was the greatest. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And I'm a big, to the point that it's not even fair, Dak Prescott supporter, but Patrick Mahomes is the best in the NFL right now, in my opinion. Yeah, if you know her friend, reach out to her. It's not going to be any gotcha questions, but I just want to talk about cooking on the truck. I want to talk about workouts. I want to talk about what made her get started in trucking, things like that. It'll be a really painless interview. We can do an hour, or if she wants to come on that show and do 15 or 20 minutes when we do the other drivers, we can do that. But yeah, I'd like to get her on. For the MRP trucks, do you pay for the already depreciation of the truck, or how do they figure what your balloon payment will be at the end? So they tell you up front what it is. On most of those trucks, it's 25 to 30,000, and it depends what kind of truck it is and stuff like that. There is no over mileage fee on the MRP trucks, so a lot of guys are hung up on that. Mine does have an over mileage fee. I believe it's after 2,500 miles, if I remember correctly. But on the MRP, you can drive the wheels off of it, run just as hard as you want to. Somebody wants the TikTok information. That's actually, I'm not really knowledgeable about TikTok. I believe if you type in Trucker Todd into TikTok, that it'll come up. There's not a whole lot of content on there, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get that information and I'll start having it in the description and the comments of the videos, because I need to start pushing that. That driver board I sit on, I got a meeting tomorrow actually, and they're going to want me to talk about the TikTok, and I need to really get that going, or they're going to drop me. And so you guys, if you really want to help out, run to TikTok, look for me. It should say Trucker Todd, or maybe Trucker Todd on YouTube, but I will, maybe I'll put that in a community post or something later after we go off. Thank you, Colton. I wish I could make more of you moderators. For those that are just joining, my phone crashed earlier, and we're kind of on backup stuff now, but we're going to get you guys added, and I appreciate all of you still being here. So how does drive-in compare to a reefer? Do you have a lot of multi-stops or mostly full loads? I've pulled three reefer loads for Swift, and none of them were multi-stop. Traditionally, when you do reefer, there's a greater risk of multi-stop, but sometimes drive-in has multi-stop. Being an independent contractor, you can turn down any load you don't want to do, but I would encourage you to do that cautiously, because sometimes that's all there is. So be careful doing that just because it has one or two little things you don't like. Let's see. Yeah, I still wish the CB would make a comeback. I think cell phones have killed the CB, but it used to be better than a radar detector, and it would tell you where accidents were and things in the road if somebody had a recliner fall out of a pickup or something. And those days are gone. I hope they come back, though. Probably the only way a CB is ever going to make a really big comeback is if they can find a better way to implement or to integrate cell phones into CBs. And mine, I'm using one of the Cobra Bluetooths, and I had a special static mic made for it. and it's one of the original ones. It does really good. It's been peaked and tuned and had a little work on it, but it's by no means a big radio, and a lot of you guys got bigger radios than me. Several guys have asked me for a pre-trip inspection video. There's a couple of problems with doing one. The first problem is no matter how good of a pre-trip I do, I'm going to miss something. And as soon as I miss something, there's going to be about 50 guys that want to just terrorize me because I missed one little thing. Secondly, to get in there and show you what I need to show you, I need a cameraman. And most of the time, it's just me on the truck. So it's hard to do. It's time consuming. We may do one at some point, but I'd have to get the tripod out and set it up, and I'd have to be at a truck stop where trucks weren't pulling in and out. And it's a difficult video to shoot. And there's guys on the internet that have already put YouTube videos out about it, but I'll take it into consideration because a lot of people have asked for that. Charles says TikTok is good. Maybe. My problem with TikTok is I'm having problems figuring out how to implement it into the channel. Most of my videos are longer recorded videos, or it's these live streams, and TikTok is either, well, up to a 3-minute video, I think. I used to do a segment called Wednesday 60-second rant, and I could have put some of those on YouTube or on TikTok, but the problem is I run out of stuff to gripe about. I'm generally a positive, happy person, and there's not really that many things that upset me anymore. And so I've got to find out something. Here lately on TikTok, I've just been reposting other people's stuff. So who was the best 80s action star, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone? Boy, that's a good one. Probably, I would say Sylvester Stallone because I really love the Rocky movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger had some good movies though too. Commando was a great movie. It just, I don't know. I like Sylvester Stallone. Even other stuff outside of Rocky. I like the Rambo movies. I like Over the Top. I thought it was pretty good. He did another one called Cobra. I don't think I've ever seen that one. Yes, sir. I gave you a wrench. I'm glad you're here. Here's a guy I really want to give a wrench to. And Joe, I think you missed it. My phone crashed and we're on backup phones. So I can't give you a wrench, but the next video you come in and comment, you're going to be a moderator. And Joe's a good guy. He does like a local truck driving job, but he also does music, and his channel's more of a music channel if y'all hadn't seen it. But he did a Bon Jovi riff the other day that was pretty good. And so if y'all hadn't checked out Joe Wentz, Project TV, go check him out. And he's a little late tonight, but I'm glad he's here. Charles likes Sylvester Stallone and the Rambos. Yeah, I use my CB too, but I'm as guilty as the next guy. When one of you guys calls or something, I'll turn it off so I can focus on what you're telling me while I'm driving. A lot of drivers are switching to VHF, better range and very clear. Canadian truckers. I'm not up on that. I'm going to have to find out about that. A lot of you are agreeing Stallone. Oh, no problem. Hey, Joe, tell us what's the next song you're going to do on your channel? And just so you guys know, because of the laptop, I mean, because of the phone and everything, I have ordered a brand new laptop, ordered it through the mail, waiting for it to come in. Uh, and so I expect video quality and um, things like that to improve greatly as soon as I can get back by the house. Um, I don't know why my phone went dead tonight. I do keep lots of spares for this very reason. I'm going to find my Pixel, and we're gonna have better stuff coming out real soon. But I really appreciate everybody sticking with me tonight. Joe Wentz says next will be Donkin. Um, I've just started listening to them. I don't know how I missed them in the 80s. 80s was more Poison, Bon Jovi, Whitesnake, that kind of stuff for me. But now I'm kind of getting into some of this other stuff. And I use Spotify, you guys know, and I've got about 11 or 1200 songs on there right now. So that's what I do. Yeah, I think Charles summed it up well. He's out. Great conversation. Take care. Have a load from Houston to Seattle. Good miles. All right, man. Take care. I think I'm going to wrap this up too. Uh, if you guys didn't see the debacle, go back and watch my phone crash. I also said several things about other YouTubers that's going to get me in trouble. So you guys make sure you check it out. I'm sure tomorrow morning I'll have a lot of explaining to do. Joe's been driving since '95. Been a company driver 28 years. Yeah, I'm. Don't give away too many details, Joe. I'm looking forward to bringing you on the show and revealing everything about you then. But you too, Charles. Have a great night. I want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you later. Have a good night. Bye bye.